Hey, what's up, you guys? Yes, today we're back at it again with a live following me leaving the live. Because what's the song? I have friends, I definitely have friends. Friends, friends, friendly friends, time to meet my friends. I'm Johnny. Anyway, sorry for that. I had to leave when there were like 300 people on here. Lol. Yeah, everything's fine. My friends were just home, so I wanted to go say hi to them. But thank you to everyone who watched the live yesterday. That was good fun. And also, don't I look like, by the way, can I just say, I found this in a taxi, and I think this is fake, but I don't really know. But can we just have a second? Will's outfit, hello? Will's outfit, hello? Hello? Anyway, thank you so much. Keep on sending likes so we can get a disagreeer on here. It's not a vest, it's a sweater. But yeah, spell check. Oh yeah, lol. I am dyslexic, so. Cricket jersey. All good, queens. Anyway, keep on sending likes. Tap that screen up. Pop, 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 pop. And let's keep it moving. Thank you so much for the likes. Thank you so much for the shares, for the follows, for the gifts. That helps the live quite a lot. I am 100% shadow disliked by TikTok. I have seen the dyslexic font. The difficulty is I just don't read everyone. I just listen to all my stuff, so I don't really care. Am I going back to Rudy's live? Maybe. Maybe not. Can I buy your mind for a day? How much you willing to pay, baby? How much you willing to pay? Anyway, if you disagree with this statement up here, send a guest request here. Send a guest request here. And we can talk. We got 360 people on here, which is okay, but we can do better. So let's keep on sending likes. Pop, 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 pop. Sharing. Thank you for the gifts, everyone. That does boost the algorithm, which is our goal. I'm done with panel lives for now. I'm gonna do some lives of my own. Hi, don't spam. Okay. Don't spam. I don't like it. I don't care if you agree with me, just don't spam. Because it's annoying. Once again, if you disagree with me, if you're pro-Zionist, if you are pro-Israel, come send a guest request and we can talk. How long did it take you to do the research? I'm going to let you all in on a secret. I have never sat down and done hardcore research on any of the issues I'm talking about. The reason I know things about this issue is because I have talked with people and I have looked things up and I have done research in discussion. And that's how I study law. That's how I do law. I talk with people and I learn things from there. And I engage with content for it. That's immersion is how you learn. And that's the logic that I engage in. So that's how it did it. And that's how you do. And that's how you should learn. Is within conversation. So I'm just going to say, if you disagree with me, send a guest request. If you don't disagree with me, don't send a guest request. Okay, then send a guest request down here if you disagree with me. Yeah, South Africa absolutely did it. I just don't like reading. Once again, because I'm dyslexic. I much prefer talking. If you think I don't know anything, send a guest request and disagree with me. Sure.
Hello, Will.
Hi, what'd you want to share?
Yeah, so I wanted to share that I don't know if you know this, but there's a TikTok named Wally Rashid. He does a lot of like investigating into like documents released by the CIA, FBI, documents and stuff like that. He's a really skilled journalist. I wanted to say you might want to drop a follow on his page. He talks a lot about the lobbying of AIPAC and stuff like that, as well as the not only what do you call do we fund Israel a lot? 317 billion since the founding of Israel, adjusted for inflation. But Israel has leaked information from the government to force America into very bad trade deals. So we're actually in I believe a 4.2 trillion trade deficit with Israel. So I was wondering if you wanted to look into that and like actually like see the details of it. But there's a page that posted and he posted documents, the details, the whole semantics that I don't really like doing the research into like you because I'm a little bit on the ADHD side. But I was saying that yeah, we have a huge trade deficit with Israel because Israel has lobbied us into taking terrible trade deals to where it's super beneficial for them and super detrimental to us. So that's not the only ways they harm us. As well as they had a spy in the Pentagon. He was arrested actually and convicted and sentenced to 10 years, but his sentence was commuted because of some BS, some kind of lobbying probably. But what do you call it? That was in 2003 when we went to war with Iraq. They tried to also get us to go to war with Iran, but the spy as well as the documents that they leaked to the press did not end up working, so we didn't go to war with Iran. But those are some things I think you'd love to look into. If you follow Wally Rashid, the page, he talks a lot about it. But
Absolutely.
that's all I wanted to say. I'm not really against, obviously, so I will drop now. But thank you very much, and thank you for all your work, Manuel.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Have a nice day.
I don't know why I'm wearing these. One second. Send a guest request if you disagree with me, everyone. I'd love to speak to a Zionist, a pro-Israel person.
Hi, how are you?
Sorry, I had it way too loud on
Oh,
my side.
sorry.
I'm doing well, Nadia. That's my bad.
Okay.
And are you pro-Israel? Are you Zionist? Would you consider
No,
yourself?
not at all. And I'm just going to be on here for 2 seconds because I know you're only requiring or requesting for the other side to come up. I just want to say I've had this fantastic idea to tie red, green, and black ribbons around trees for awareness. And I attach a tag with the 25,000 plus people that have been unalived, the civilians, like a little tag informing people. And I just tie it around trees. So all over my city. And I think it's a great idea if we spread it as like a national ribbon campaign, red, green, and black, the colors of the flag.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I know the BDS movement has some has suggestions for the protests and actions that they are suggesting. I worry with the ribbon campaign and environmental critique that could be done of it. But so I would follow what the BDS movement suggests in
Yeah.
terms of protests and in
Yeah.
terms of specific actions like that, and following what Palestinians say in taking a lead with that. But doing work like that is absolutely valuable. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Eric Warsaw's live every night, and he has approved it. So our group is doing it. So those 500 plus people are doing it, and I just want to spread it even further. And Israel's already started. Israel pro-Israelis have already started doing it in my neighborhood. So I think we just need to like strike while the iron's hot. And yeah, I am an environmentalist too. So maybe sustainable materials, like definitely like tie it gently, like be kind to nature.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, I have to go. I'm a therapist and I have a client, but I just wanted to say that idea, give that idea out there. Thank you.
Slay. Thank you.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
You too. Not Kenzie commenting saying I look gay. Hilarious. Um, I do. Thank you, Kenzie. I haven't seen you on in forever either, but thank you. Anyway, keep on sending likes, keep on sharing. I don't even know. If you disagree with me, send a guest request. That's what I'm gonna say. I saw that, Kenzie. I'm aware. Um, okay. Yeah, okay. What we might consider doing, everyone, because it seems that the Zionists are not coming, is we might restart it. Restart the live. That might be the action. That might be the um, action that we take. Well, let's see what this guy believes.
How you doing?
Doing well. What'd you send a guest request to disagree on?
I don't think we should be funding either side.
Do we send military aid to both sides?
Yeah, we're basically involved in every foreign war on both sides, right? Like, that's just the
Explain that to
American
me.
war machine. We give them weapons, we give them training, because we gave Iran all of that stuff.
What did we give Iran?
Missiles, weapons, and training, which then they
That's
use to train the
fascinating.
Palestinians.
What missiles did we give Iran?
We just left a bunch of stuff. What do you mean? We left them
You're talking about
tanks,
Afghanistan.
surface-to-air
Afghanistan
missiles.
isn't Iran.
It's all the same. They're all the same over there. But America,
That's just racist.
it's not racist. What do you mean?
That's literally just
They all
racist.
have the same ideology over there, which
They
is
don't.
why we keep meddling
They
in both
famously
sides.
don't.
We give weapons and training to both sides of every
And once
Middle
again, I'm
Eastern
asking you,
conflict.
what weapons do we give Iran?
We've given them guns. We've given them
When?
missiles. Dude, it's just a simple Google search. What do you mean? We
Okay.
left so much equipment over there.
In Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a
And you
different
don't think
country
that's
than
spread
Iran.
throughout the Middle East? You don't think that
No,
at all?
no, because Iran doesn't love the Taliban.
Hamas isn't the Taliban.
But Hamas is a different thing than the Taliban because the Taliban is in Afghanistan, which is the place that we left all of those military weapons. So Iran is connected to Hamas. So you could say if we gave things to Iran, we gave things to Hamas. That might be a fair argument. But if we left things with the Taliban, that is very different than it going to Iran.
They are going. So we support, quote unquote, we are on Israel's side. In the optics of like the media, we are pro-Israel. And we're not. What I'm saying is that we are playing both sides in the war to watch them destroy each other.
So I agree actually that we have consistently bred conflict in the Middle East for this purpose. I disagree that within this specific conflict, you could draw me a line of American military equipment going to Hamas, directly or indirectly. It's just not happening. It's correct that the Middle East has been made to be fundamentally unstable by the West so we can maintain control of oil interests in that area. That's true. The difference is you're saying it in a specific case where it's not, and in a so deeply unnuanced way that it's unhelpful to actually understand what's going on.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but I no, but yeah, they definitely are using our equipment against the Israelis, and the Israelis are using the equipment against the Palestinians.
Okay, so specifically, what American equipment has Hamas used?
All right, let me pull up a source for you.
Okay. I'm not going to say that none have, but what I can say is that it's the current policy of America enacted in genuinity to not actively provide military aid to Hamas. Why would we literally send troops in the ocean against, for example, the Houthis in Yemen, and then also fund the people funding the Houthis in Yemen? Those are American civilians that are being killed by people we would be funding. That just doesn't function, right? And I think we see how that doesn't function.
So I did a quick Google search. The Jerusalem Post talks about how the U.S. gave the Palestinian national military, or whatever they call it, the national security forces for Palestine.
Controlled by who?
Palestinians. They got that equipment.
What specific
Jordan.
organization?
Palestinian Authority. That's
Okay, so not Hamas. Palestinian Authority, which famously was deposed by Hamas in the Gaza Strip and is their sworn enemy to Hamas. So we gave the enemy of Hamas weapons? Okay.
yes. I'm
So
actually
once
pro
again, not all
Hamas,
Palestinians are the same.
but they're all against the IDF.
Well, but what's interesting actually is that the PA works with Israel, right? And they've been heavily criticized for it, right? But they are fundamentally opposed to Hamas and the actions of Hamas. And those weapons very often were used to fight against Hamas and terrorist organizations like it within the territory. So once again, we are funding a Western construct, the Palestinian Authority, to beat out terrorists within the Palestinian territory. We
So
don't fund Hamas.
do you believe Hamas is a terrorist organization?
Yes.
Why?
I mean, just they fit the definition.
How do they fit the definition?
Okay, we can get the specific definition up. The unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in pursuit of political aims. So both the IDF and Hamas are terrorists.
Okay, so which makes one the lesser evil, right? Because
I don't think that's the discussion at hand.
in my eyes, Hamas is using, tea to defend their homeland, which is what we did against the British.
I don't see how that was the discussion at hand.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We're funding both sides.
But we're not. You
And
haven't.
both are
You've
terrorist
said something that's
organizations.
false. You've said a lie.
We are absolutely funding Hamas.
When?
When we are giving stuff to the Palestinian Authority, you personally don't believe Hamas is getting their hands on those weapons and equipment.
No, we know that they are not.
How do you know that?
Because even Israel doesn't claim that.
And we're going to trust Israel.
No, what I'm
sorry,
just to be very clear, I trust Israel to lie all conceivably possible lies. Any claim that benefits Israel, they will make the claim of. Unless it's so obviously stupid and not possible. So this claim would benefit Israel. So the fact that they have not claimed it yet means that it's probably so clearly stupid and obviously catchable of a lie.
Listen, I just don't know. Hamas has that country locked down, and Jordan is sending them our equipment.
Jordan is not sending them equipment.
That is where the Palestinian Authority got our equipment.
How many times do I have to reiterate that the Palestinian Authority is
and you're
a
acting
different
like they don't have roadblocks and stuff blocked up like pirates to steal equipment?
Wait,
What do you
so
think
are
it's
you
just
saying
airdrop
that
inside of a base?
sorry, are you saying that Hamas steals American equipment
Yes.
now? Oh, okay. I can imagine that Hamas has probably stolen American equipment. That is me being stolen from is very, very different than me supporting the people that steal from me.
But in the American eyes, why are we sending it over there knowing there's a high risk of it being stolen?
Wait, sorry.
It's all
Hamas has also stolen.
dirty.
Hamas has also stolen IDF military weaponry.
Exactly. So why are we if we're pro IDF, right?
Why send them military weapons?
Why are we sending the Palestinian Authority?
Because the Palestinian Authority because the Palestinian Authority's military control bolsters the IDF's military control in an area.
I'm lost. Yeah.
So if the Palestinian Authority, a native authority, has control over an area and has more valid control than Israel does over an area, then there will be less there will be less terrorist activity within that area because the peoples support that ruling authority slightly more. So when they are able to maintain control over a territory, they are keeping that territory safer. That supports the IDF's mission of reducing terrorism in the area, at least in part. To go really, really, really simple for you.
So again, why are we supporting Palestine and Israel at the same time?
Well, we're supporting the PA, to be very specific, because the PA and Israel are not at war. Oh, he got removed due to violations, which I don't really know what he got removed for. But, okay. Okay, so just to be very clear, thank you so much for the likes, thank you so much for the gifts, thank you so much for the shares. If you disagree with me, send a guest request. If you don't disagree with me, don't. If you have something to share with me personally, DM me. If you have something to share with me personally, DM me. I read all my DMs. Hello.
Hey, what's going on, Will?
Not much. Would you send a guest request to disagree on?
So, kind of all of it. So, first of all, number one, the funding of Israel and the IDF from America. I mean, number one, America doesn't want terrorism to spread at all. As we know, Hamas, there's a few other terror groups in Palestine, Iran. All these people, these places, they spend millions and millions of dollars fighting the Taliban back in Afghanistan, all of that shit, just to make sure that that doesn't really move on to anywhere else. You don't want these type of people, a group of people getting together and actually having the freedom to build an army together. I mean,
I categorically disagree that that was our goal in Afghanistan.
not it has to be a goal, but in the end of the day, if we weren't
In the end of the day, it didn't work.
Taliban, they would be a lot larger than they are today. A lot. And we all know.
Controlling the whole of the territory of Afghanistan?
Not the whole territory, but
they control the whole territory of Afghanistan.
But when we were there, Taliban was at a minimum. Now,
so did it work?
Pose a threat. No, because we pulled out.
Yeah, exactly.
So now again, goal, Israel will never pull out. Israel is there to stay. Israel will never pull out. So that is a terror group that you do not need to worry about. Now, Israel also shares a shit ton of electronics and.
Can we use just to interrupt there? Let's use TikTok friendly language. I've been a little loose about it, but I don't want my account to be taken down. So like T group, H group, not cussing, such things. Just so my account is not threatened and your account is not threatened.
I got you. All right, so. I mean, if you put like the T groups and all of that to the side, even Israel does help out America. Israel does send a lot of technology towards America. Israel and America do have a back and forth relationship. It's not a one-sided relationship at all.
What do they send us? Yeah.
So I don't know the exact products they sent, but it's a known thing that Israel does share technology with America.
And why do they have a technology center and hub in Israel?
I mean, Israel is known.
Who supported it? Why is it centered there?
What do you mean, why is it centered there?
Where did those technology companies get the stability of nation and the capital investment and the capital markets and access to capital markets to build such technology companies? While you're at it, why does Taiwan and Korea and Japan have thriving technical industries as well?
So America's funding all of these technical industries?
Well, what I'm saying is they would be impossible without American diplomatic, military, and economic support. Absolutely. There's nothing special about any of these places. Koreans aren't better at technology. Taiwanese people aren't better at technology. Israelis are not better at technologies. It's the fact that when we go into an area, those are the industries that, by and large, we build and support.
Yeah, so if America is the one sending money, meaning the only way and possibility Israel could come up with these technologies is through American dollars, why doesn't America come up with these technologies? If they have the funds?
We do, by and large, but there are. I mean, we are kind of the innovation capital in terms of medical technology, in terms of a huge amount of technologies of the world. So it's no surprise that when America goes into another place, we invest in such industries. But we
investing or
could talk
not,
about the
I mean, according to
specific
what you're saying,
things.
if the
We could
only
talk about the
possibility
specific
that
things.
the only possibility that Israel could get to these technologies is through America, I mean, it
No,
would make sense for
that's not what I
America to
said,
make it itself.
Josh. That's not what I said.
So reiterate what you said.
What I said was that the reason that they did do this was because of America. And that's just unequivocal. Without American support, they wouldn't have had that. I mean, it's the same reason that Taiwan does.
I mean, not really.
But there
Top
are
billion-dollar companies come out of Israel, like a lot
I mean,
of
billion-dollar companies come out
billion-dollar
of Korea and, okay, I mean, what's the only difference between North and South Korea? Which world power supported them?
I
I
mean,
mean, that's
obviously,
politically the only difference. And one allowed a dictatorship, an authoritarian, dictatorship, and one built, right, what we would consider probably a corporatocracy. And they turned out drastically different. They are hallmark differences in when the West colonizes an area and when, for example, the East engaged in colonization of an area. That is what we see. There's nothing special about Israelis that make them better at technology, and there's nothing special about Israelis that justifies us allying with them for technology.
So the funding of U.S. dollars shouldn't go to Israel. The technology doesn't make a difference. Whatever you're saying right now,
What I'm saying is that money could be equally invested in America, and we would do the exact same thing.
Again, why isn't that the case? Why would they?
Because us funding it has ulterior benefits,
such as
securing American foreign interests in the area, such as increasing American geopolitical hegemony. I don't support colonialism. It's the same reason that, for example, the British built up a textile industry in India, because they could have done the textile industry in their homeland, right? But they went to India, and they had both natural resources, and it increased their colonial power and stranglehold on the local economy. So when America is integrally connected to a economy that is located beneficially in the Middle East, that gives us power and influence in the Middle East. That's why we support Israel.
So you're against America supporting any other country besides the USA?
By no means would I say that.
So what are you saying? Because it does sound like
What I'm saying is I don't support
Israel,
imperialism and colonialism.
So again, do you have the problem with the funding that they're giving to Israel? You have the problem that it's going to
the
Israel.
reason I have a problem that funding continues and is the legacy of imperialism and colonialism. And we see that clearly through the despicable actions of them. They are acting like a genocidal colonist. So it's not just the fact that America wants them to be a colonist that I don't like, but it's also that they are being a colonist that I don't like. So we should neither want a colony, nor should we support a colony.
Can you give me an example of colonialism from Israel? How they colonized, let's say, Palestine?
I mean, so a major migration organization that moved thousands and thousands of Jews into the area was literally called the Jewish Colonization Association. You can look it up. It's still active in part. The original Zionists in 1980 and 1990 literally called themselves colonialists.
Okay,
until they realized that colonialism was a bad term and they moved away from it because they changed their propaganda. But it doesn't change the facts. Israel was a colonial project by the West. And when colonialism was still accepted, they called themselves that.
Yes, so by Palestinian, first of all, number one, Palestinians doesn't mean nothing, has nothing to do with Arab people. There was Palestinian Jews, Palestinian, whoever you want was there. Now, Palestine has nothing to do with Arab people right now that live there today, has nothing to do with them. Now, Israel came there and they say they took their land. It was never their land, so I don't really see where colonialism came from. The British mandate allowed Israel to come in there. The United Nations gave Israel...
The British mandate was a colonial construct.
But again, who did the British mandate take that land from? The Ottoman
Empire.
Ottomans. Exactly. So it has nothing to
Who were
do with the
also
Arab people
colonizing
living
the
there
area in
today. It
part.
has zero to do with the Arab people living there today. Now they're the ones complaining Israel's taking our land, genocide, genocide, all that bullshit. That they're the one complaining about it. So
Once
no matter
again,
how
I
you
need
want to
you.
go,
So Josh, I need you to use TikTok friendly language.
the shit thing is no good.
I mean, the G word, the shit word thing. Yeah, those two things. We don't need to. I'm not mad. I just don't want my account taken down for a fourth time. Cool?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. No, no, definitely. Okay, so but listen, at the end of the day, that point did get across. Regardless of what we say, it's not the Arabs people, so it did never belong to them, never will. And again, Israel offered them a state on several different occasions. They declined every single time. Now you want to say
Well,
that
Palestine offered a state to Israel as well.
Palestine offered? If Israel wanted a state, they would have took it from Palestine. There's no
And they
offer.
did. But
Again, they didn't take
there
it
was
from
a,
them.
sorry,
They didn't take it from them. It
actually
was
they
never
did,
there.
Josh.
How about this? Well,
So,
if I give you a place to stay, let's say I'm a landlord, and I feel bad for you. I give you a place to stay for free. Now, somebody comes up to me and says, you know what? Let me give this guy rent to stay in his apartment. I want to take you out. You have the right to say no. I'm not leaving. Again, the Palestinian people stayed there. They weren't. It did not
so
belong to them. They stayed there. Israel came in there, and if Israel wanted to, they could have committed a genocide within 30 minutes
once
of
again, I
land.
need you to use TikTok friendly language.
What did I say?
You can just say G side. That's fine. We
The
know what you're saying.
No, I'm actually a little low. What did I say? What's G?
G side.
Oh. Nah, so the G. Yeah, basically the G. But no, that's basically where I'm coming from. And the end of the day,
Yeah,
Israel.
and so Josh, the point you're making though is wrong. Um, let's start from the very beginning. You claim that this land never belonged to the Arabs or never belonged to the Palestinian people. Let's get a little abstract. What does it mean for land to belong to a people's?
I mean, obviously they need to have a government there. The land has to be theirs, meaning they're not living in someone else's. And the British mandate established the land over there, regardless of how they took it. Doesn't matter to us. It did not belong to the Arab people.
So
Palestinians
you
have nothing
believe,
to do with Arabs.
just to be clear, your view is that if they don't have a government only to themselves, they don't. So, for example, the Palestinians under the Ottoman Empire were citizens of the Ottoman Empire.
Hmm.
Okay, so that was Ottoman land,
They weren't the Palestinian people. Yeah.
but they were Palestinians under Ottoman. They were Ottomans and they were Palestinians. You can
And
be
they were
multiple
Palestinian.
things.
Doesn't mean that that land was the Palestinian land. It means
Well,
it
if
was Ottoman
so,
land. It
it
was
was
Palestinians
controlled
living
and
there.
owned by the Ottomans,
Yeah,
and they were Ottomans.
yeah.
So it was their land under the Ottoman Empire.
Hmm.
So under the Ottoman Empire, it was their land.
100%. Now you want to say that by the
Okay.
British mandate, it was their land. Now, again, it could be whatever you want to say.
But
British,
you claimed that it was never their land.
but
That
when
is
the
wrong.
British mandate gave Israel the opportunity to come in and actually take a piece of land. When the UN came in and gave Israel a piece of land.
When did the British Mandate allow Israel to come in and take a piece of land?
I mean, it was the British mandate's land. It wouldn't have been given if it wouldn't have been taken from the British mandate.
Yeah, it was actually illegally seized control from the British Mandate. Britain called the organizations that would later become the IDF terrorists or T groups at the time. You know that, right?
Actually, not.
Yeah, so British people were pushed out of British Mandate Palestine by Israel and by what would later become the IDF. So, no, Britain didn't give them their land. Actually, the Zionists illegally seized it. So, if
From
you're claiming that
from
from the
who? From the
British,
British mandate, right? Not from the Palestinians. They illegally
well,
seized
the
it
thing
from the British mandate.
is the British Mandate was effectively a trust territory. So it was holding it on trust for the people underneath it. So the people constituent of it. It was not an integral part of Britain. it was an administrative district, meaning that Britain was administering it on behalf of the people. So the people that lived there, who were previous under the Ottoman Empire and had indigenous ties to the land, were the ones that had the rights to this land. So when you take and forcibly push out the trustees who are holding it in benefit to those people, you are taking it, or you are taking the beneficial interest from those people, because that's all they have. Do we understand that type of concept?
We definitely do. But if you wanted a passport back in the day, would you go through the Palestinian Authority? There was never one. You would go through the British Mandate. Now, if
But
you're
what I'm
saying that
saying
they're
is
a
the British
trustee
Mandate was
and they're
holding it
only
on
doing
trust for
this,
them.
what?
So you would go through what was the Palestinian Authority there, which were the British. The British were holding it on trust for the Palestinians.
Yeah, because it belonged to the British Mandate.
Yeah, but in belonging to the British Mandate, it belonged to the Palestinians. That's
Not
how a
really.
trust
The British
territory.
Mandate
That's how a
decided they
trust
didn't.
territory works.
Not even close, because if the British Mandate decided they didn't want Palestinians in that land anymore, they had every right to go ahead and remove them.
Actually, no, they didn't,
It's a land that belonged to them. Why not?
because it's a trust territory in part. This is why I ask you if you know what a trust territory is.
What's a trust territory? Where you're
Okay, great.
holding it for the interest of somebody else?
Yeah, in the simplest possible way.
So when they took it,
So you cannot act against the beneficial interests of the native peoples.
so when British Mandate took it from the Ottoman Empire, they specifically took it so they could benefit the people who are living there.
The reason that they were given um, administrative control. So just to be very clear, it wasn't. This is why I'm being very careful with my words. It was not the UN concept of a trust territory. Okay, that is a separate concept. That's very similar. This was what we would call an administrative district. Okay, and Britain is really, really annoying for this reason. A mandate territory would mean that you have administration over that territory, but you do not claim it to be a part of your territory. You do not claim it to be your people, and you do not claim, like, ultimately sovereignty over it. You simply have administrative mandate over it. And there are rules and regulations as to what you do with administrative mandate. The goal of administrative mandate at the time, which was a League of Nations concept, was to eventually transfer ownership, proper ownership, legal ownership, to the indigenous people. So obviously, you cannot complete that goal by kicking all the indigenous people out. You see how that would be fundamentally contradictory to the idea of a mandate territory.
So Israel had a few options before actually coming to Palestine. They had Argentina. They had a few other options after the H word to come to Israel. That wasn't their first option. Why did Israel choose Israel then? Why did basically
So
the
why did the
Israelites choose Israel?
Zionists make this decision?
Yeah, if it's not their land, it's nobody's land. It's a whole mix-up. Why couldn't they
I
just
never
stay
said it
there?
was nobody's land.
No, you're saying it's a trustee, so meaning it wasn't the British Mandate and it wasn't the Palestinian people's land. So if the British Mandate wanted to
Well,
wanted to kick the people from Palestinian out, they couldn't, and the Palestinian people couldn't get a passport through the Palestinians. They had to go through a British Mandate. So I'm just confused. It's like a whole back and forth. If the British Mandate didn't own it, how come you need to get a visa and a passport through them? If they just wanted to give
ownership
it,
is complicated, isn't it?
not really. I mean, you own something, you
Okay,
have right to it.
okay. Um, do you own a house?
Yeah.
Do you have a mortgage on that house?
Yes.
Who owns your house?
I mean, I do, but technically the bank till I pay it off.
Okay. So that's pretty complicated. Does no one own your house?
Not at all. The only reason I don't own my house is because I took a mortgage out. It has nothing. If I would pay that in full, the house doesn't automatically belong to banks. It's only because I took a
Okay.
mortgage out. Did the Palestinian people take a mortgage out from the British Mandate?
Well, so mortgages are one specific type of they are actually legal ownership. So they're a type of ownership that isn't full ownership, but they're still properly a type of ownership.
So if I take a
If
mortgage out, can I sell my house or do I have to ask the bank for permission?
Well, it actually depends on the terms of that mortgage.
I mean, not really. I mean, any mortgage I came across, you could do whatever you want with your house. It's yours as
There
long
are
as.
limitations on historical mortgages, but the point is that ownership is complicated.
So now again, back to whatever we were going to. If I have a mortgage, I can sell my house. I mean, whatever way you want to say that there's terms to it, not really. If what you're selling for it could pay off the loan, you're allowed to sell your home. Now, the
Okay,
Palestinian
but there are
people,
terms to it. You just showed a term to it.
again, yeah, as long as it's more,
You can't sell your home in bad faith, for example, for
obviously not
nothing.
because
But
you
once
took the
again,
mortgage out in
exactly.
the beginning.
So that's a term to it. What I'm saying, Josh, is that ownership is complicated. And ownership gets even more complicated when you are talking about countries and when you're talking about international law. Okay, so now that we understand maybe there are different types of ownership and there are different types of sovereignty and different types of countries that can exist here, then we understand what Palestine, the British Mandate of Palestine at that time, was, right? And we can understand how Britain, in holding it effectively on trust for the indigenous peoples, did not have the right to unilaterally kick the people out. And it certainly did not use that right to empower Israel. They actually got kicked out by Israel illegally. So the
Didn't the Jews
question
buy?
here,
Didn't the Jews buy 60% of the land though from the British?
not from the British. So the people physically that they bought the land from were the Palestinians, but there were also extraordinary amounts of terroristic or T group violence
Well, I don't want to get banned.
between. I'm trying.
I'm joking. Keep going.
Yeah. T group violence illegally seizing land from the Palestinians. So they did buy a portion of the land, a de minimis portion of the land, right? I think the proper numbers are about five to six is what they officially bought. But a huge amount of those, even legal buying, were under duress or violence. And then they also illegally seized many villages from the Palestinians. So,
Okay. I mean, we could go back to, let's say, the Native Americans, the people who lived here before America was America. I mean, I don't see those people strapping on, Suez S vests or bomb vests and blowing up buses full of civilians. In the end of the day, no matter what you want to look at it, Israel is under attack from a government that was based in 2006 called Hamas, the H group. That's a fact. Their entire, and this is a known thing, their entire motto is until Israel is destroyed, we will not rest. That's their entire motto. They're living next to a government that their entire existence is to destroy Israel. Now, what do you want them to do? What do you want Israel to do? I mean, there's so
well,
much Israel could do. You want to talk about 100 years ago what happened? Okay, fine. Let's just say it wasn't the British man. There's a trustee, and the whole complication of mortgages got applied to it, right? And then the day we all know the British mandate could do whatever they wanted with the land because again,
that's just
in order
not
to get
true.
a passport, you had to go through the British mandate. If the British
Wait,
mandate
so
wanted,
Josh, you can ignore the nuance and then state a false statement again.
but
It
again,
just doesn't
well,
get us anywhere.
why would the British mandate take a trustee just so that they can basically a trustee? The only reason I could figure out to protect the Palestinian people, to make sure that no one's because it's under the British now, so don't mess with them. Why would the British mandate then give up on Palestine so easily when Israel came?
I mean, so just to be clear, if we look historically, the reason they took the mandate was because it increased their power and influence because they had administrative control in the area. Okay, and then if we look further, why the
Administrative
T
control, right? Control, not like what you said with the trustee where they have nothing to do
well, a
with the
trustee
bigger.
has control and influence.
So if you have control, you have what? You can kick people
Well,
out. I mean, that's what it means to
no.
own the land. You have control over it. You
So
can
okay,
do.
does a landlord have control over his land?
I mean, yeah, kind of. If you're living,
Okay,
depends where you're living.
okay. Does that mean that in all places, unilaterally, he can kick anyone he wants out of the land?
As long as he goes through an actual, yeah, as long as he goes through a judge and it happens
Fascinating,
accordingly, you
fascinating.
can kick out anybody. Yes.
I mean,
In
that's not
New York
actually,
City, it
so
takes
just
10
to
years
be
to kick a
extraordinarily
tenant out.
clear, no fault evictions are not ubiquitous. And actually, most sovereign states do not allow no fault evictions. So that's not true. But first of all, that's why they took the mandate. Why was it so easy for the T groups that eventually became the IDF to kick the British out of the land? Because at the time, the British didn't want to continue occupying their colonial holdings anyway, right? This is when they were moving out of South Africa. This is when they were moving out of, Rhodesia, North and South Rhodesia. This is when they were moving out of Namibia. This is when they were moving out of India. They were moving out of a lot of their colonies. This is when they were moving out of Cyprus and Malta, for example. They were moving out a lot of their colonial holdings because they were trying to retract because they didn't have the resources to support it. So there was a major security threat in Palestine, and they couldn't fight against that security threat because they had their own problems back at home, right? If we go back to 1948, Britain had just been unilaterally and utterly destroyed following World War II, right? So they didn't really have the money to maintain an expansive empire. So that's why they did. It has absolutely nothing to do with what they had an international right to do, what they wanted the Israelis or the Palestinians to do. It has nothing to do with changing the structure of the international law. It has everything to do with a very practical political fact of reality.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
your argument just is literally has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
I mean, I do remember I did remember seeing something about where the British Mandate actually killed Arabs in a certain type of a revolt. So, again, going back, you're saying a trustee. They were there specifically for the Palestinian people. They were going to give it to them afterwards. Why are they killing Arabs?
I mean, I didn't say they were unilaterally good, trustee.
Again, well, in the end of the day, you don't kill the people that you are spending billions of dollars to make sure that they're safe. You don't kill those people. You don't become a
Well,
trustee. You own land. In the
can
end
you
of the day,
name one other trustee state?
no, I cannot.
Then you have no clue what you're talking about regarding trustee states.
So now, states that have a trustee over there. No, I'm just using common sense. You're saying they were there to protect the
No,
people.
you just fundamentally don't know the structure of the thing that I'm talking about.
Not even close. It's common sense.
I think I could name about 15 historical trustee states right now and tell you the massacres that have happened by their trustee holder, their trust, what it would be called, what would be trustees, by their trustees, right? Um, upon the people, right? We can go to Kiribati by the French, right? And that was handed over to New Zealand. We could go to Papua New Guinea, West Irian, which was once part of Australia and was then an Australian trust territory, right? We could go to Tuvalu, which was administered by New Zealand and then Australia, then the US, where massacres of the Tuvaluans were horrendous and extraordinarily impoverishing, right? How many more do we need to name? But trusteeship is not necessarily a moral or good thing. I'm just stating to you the international law of trusteeship. And the
Now,
fact that
again,
they are people under a trusteeship means that they have rights to the land that they're on. So when Israel purports that historically the Palestinians never had rights to the land that they were on, they are wrong. The British Mandate, in its essence, recognized that the Palestinian people had a right to the land that they're on. And now Israel, in its fundamental foundational essence, is denying that.
So this Palestinian people didn't have a flag back then, didn't have an authority back then, not a government, not nothing. But since it was a trustee, and it might have been given to them if World War II didn't happen and the British didn't have that much money to spend on them, it might have been given to them if they didn't have to pull out. Let's just say all these mites. So yeah, they're indigenous to this land, and nobody can come in and take it. Now, again, if they were really indigenous to this land, why would the UN give Israel almost half of that state?
Well, because they recognized the indigeneity of Israelis as well. And this is what we do all the time, is when there are warring ethnic groups, right? I disagree with the partition plan personally. I don't think partition is the solution to warring ethnic groups. But once again, the partition plan, which Israel claimed to accept, recognized the indigeneity of the Palestinians.
And that's why they still have a state.
But Josh, you cannot, on one hand, claim the Palestinians are not indigenous or make an argument leading to that conclusion, while also referencing Israel, which literally recognized the indigeneity and validity of a Palestinian state in the area by accepting the partition plan.
Okay, so
These two
Israel,
are fundamentally contradictory.
so
Choose your argument.
Israel and Palestine, let's say they're both indigenous to this place. Why is Israel the one being under attack then right now?
You don't
Shouldn't
think that the
Israel be pretty
Palestinian
mad?
territories are under attack?
Shouldn't Israel be, first of all, Israel, it's a known thing. I mean, you hear the government. If you could show me a governmental video from Israel, that impledes to the genocide of the Palestinian people, you hear
Oh,
Hamas all day saying, until there's the last Jew there, we're
wait,
not
Josh,
stopping.
so Josh, this isn't the point that you made.
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I messed up. The point that I
Just
made
make a point. Just
wasn't
make
good.
one point.
So the
Just
point
make
I'm
one
making now,
point.
they're both indigenous to this land, right?
Okay.
hmm Now, why the whole Palestinian motto is that why did Israel come into our land and kick us out? But we're both indigenous to it. How does that make sense? We didn't kick them out.
Well,
Technically, we're not
you
kicking them
did
out.
actually. So this is what's interesting. Israel, in its War of Independence, the Nakba, following 1948, did expel hundreds of thousands of people from their native land within what was formerly British Mandate Palestine and formerly the Ottoman Empire. Right? And we can go back and back and back. They actually did expel those. Do you know what the Nakba is?
Yes, I do know what the Nakba
Okay,
is.
so in the Nakba, the Israeli forces, right, through violence between the Israeli and the Arab nations, forcibly expelled hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. And let's talk about a specific claim here. When you expel peoples from a land, you are obligated to allow them back into that land following the war. Israel has control proper of the territory they took in the Nakba, and it is Israeli, and Israelis live there. Now they have the legal obligation to allow those indigenous people they kicked off the land to return to that land.
Now,
Israel is failing its international obligations, is violating international law criminally, and denying those people access to the lands. Do you still claim that Israel never kicked indigenous people off their land?
no, they probably did. Indigenous people, not indigenous because
Okay, so
Israel's
that
also
thing that you
indigenous.
said was not true.
No, not even close. Israel was also indigenous to that land. Now,
But
when Israel came in to
wait,
take these
sorry, that
people,
doesn't matter.
when Israel got sovereignty over their land, this is their land now. The people of Palestine didn't want to move. That's why the Nakba happened. They did not want to go. Now, Israel had every single right to kick those people out. Now, in the end of the
No, they
day, they
didn't.
didn't let them back in. Obviously not. When you're with a war with people that are T people, where they're the ones that they say you're coming into our land, we
They
have to
don't
kill
have
you.
that right
They don't have what right?
to kick indigenous people off their land.
But again, they had that land, Israel, and they're
But
kicking them
they
out. The Nakba happened because the Palestinian people revolted against it.
wait, so the Nakba happened. Let's just be very clear. Israel does not have the right to kick indigenous people out of their land. One group of indigenous people do not have the right to kick another group of indigenous people out of the land. Do you disagree with that general statement?
I mean, yeah, but when
Do
they
you
kicked
so
them out
you
of the
do you
land,
do disagree with it or do you agree with it?
did they have the UN? Did the UN give Israel the sovereignty over that piece of land where they kicked them out from?
Josh, can you answer my question first? I don't know if you did, it wasn't very clear. Does a indigenous peoples who have sovereignty over a given land have the right to kick another indigenous peoples out of that land?
Now, again, this has to do to answer your
Yes,
question. This has to
yes or
do
no,
to
Josh,
answer your
first.
question. This has to do with answering your question. Now, when the Nakba did happen, did Israel have the sovereignty over the land by the UN?
Okay, even if, right, a peoples are given sovereignty, does any country with sovereignty have the right to kick indigenous people off of the land?
I mean, if they had sovereignty over it and Palestinian people were giving them problems, I could see why Israel would do that.
But do they have that right, Josh?
Internationally, I don't know.
Okay, in any other context?
I would say yes.
Okay, so let's talk about the relevant context that you did point there and admitted you didn't know, which I appreciate. On the case of international, you referenced the UN giving them sovereignty. Okay, so if we're going to talk about the UN giving them sovereignty, which I think is helpful, Let's talk about the conditions that come with that sovereignty, right? If Israel's going to sign on to the partition plan, that is a recognition of the rights and obligations that they gained from signing on to the partition plan.
But who didn't
One of those
sign?
what?
Who didn't sign?
It doesn't matter, Josh.
But again, if
Wait,
they
Josh. When Israel claims sovereignty from a UN plan, which they still do today, then you must reference the rules and conditions of the UN's recognition.
But again, how
Let's
does the
make that
plan
simpler.
go
If I
through?
reference an authority, I can't disagree with that authority. If my whole foundation of existence comes from one authority, then I can't, on the other hand, disagree fundamentally with the authority. That is fundamentally contradictory.
If a deal is about to go through and there's two people that are about to sign, one person signs the deal, the other person doesn't sign it. Does it mean that deal went through? Does the other person still have to abide by those laws? No, the deal did not go through. It did not at all.
Then Israel doesn't have the UN's consent of sovereignty. Is that your argument?
But not even close, because the UN did give them that right as long as the Palestinian people would sign that sovereignty paper.
And they didn't sign it.
And they did not.
They don't have that right.
So now, regardless of what you want to say, if they don't have that right, no.
You see what you just did there? You delegitimized the existence of Israel.
I mean, yeah. Shit happens.
Might want to read your note cards a little quicker next time, Josh.
Well, if I got note cards from Israel, they need to pay me a lot more to keep up with this. A lot more than what you guys think. Now, well, regardless of that, let's say Palestine is in the right, let's say we did kick them out of their land. We slaughtered all of them. We kicked them all out. Same thing happened with the Native Americans. What do you think America would do if a Native Americans right now all grouped up and said, you know what, let's just start blowing up buses, civilians, so that we can take a part of our land back?
Are you suggesting that I would support the actions that the United States take against the Native Americans?
Not even close, but it happened. It happened.
Okay,
now,
but the fact that America is a genocidal empire
whenever
doesn't
you were
justify
speaking,
anyone else being.
Okay, but Will, now it happened. The United States, it happened. Now, let's say right now, Native Americans decided, let's start with violence to get our land back. What do you think America would do? We were wrong back.
But that doesn't mean that America's response would be justified.
Again, that response, so regardless of what it is, what would the United States of America do right now? You think they would let them? What? Just give you your land back because you're blowing up buses full of civilians. Not even close.
Okay, well, first of all, Josh, I wouldn't support what America would do.
I mean, supporting or not, again, America.
But no. So you're arguing with me, Josh. You're trying to justify to me what Israel's doing. So in order to make an analog,
so you're saying you would support Native Americans blowing up buses full of civilians trying to get a land back? So if you don't support America and stopping them from doing that, who are you supporting?
Well, I don't think that's what America would do.
What do you mean?
I think America would engage in very similar behaviors as they have for the past 250 years, and before that as well, and very similar to behaviors of what Israel has done for the past 75 years, which is enacting a genocidal and ethnic cleansing policy against the peoples and using violent resistance of those peoples to continue those genocidal and ethnic cleansing policies against those peoples. America would respond in a very similar way Israel would, they would use the violence of a few to justify the ethnic cleansing of all of them. And I don't support that.
Now, again, the ethnic cleansing of all of them, I mean, it's a fact that Hamas hides in these buildings. Hamas doesn't let their people leave.
Josh, once again, it seems like you have no cards when you all say the same thing. If it's a fact, I was talking about an analog. And you can disagree with the analog, but what was your point? Make an argument, Josh. Make an argument. Do you deny that America has ethnically cleansed Native Americans?
Of course.
Yeah, of course they have.
Now, if Native Americans
any excuse they have to continue that, they would do it as well. I
mean, if Native Americans would show resistance in violent ways, of course, yeah. 100%. And not only that, I would stand behind America. This happened hundreds of years ago. Now, for you to go ahead and start violently attacking the civilians of America, which has nothing to do with, they had nothing to do with what happened hundreds of years ago. I would honestly agree with America if they went on and not committed genocide, because Israel's not committing a genocide, but took out the groups of people who did so.
So, Josh, I'm intrigued. Do you believe that England has a right to Irish territory?
Why?
Because Irish independence came through violence and came through what was possibly properly referred to as a terrorist organization of the IRA. And it's actually Ireland currently, Southern Ireland, or not Southern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, has currently has Sinn Féin in power. Sinn Féin actually being a political wing of the IRA. So it was actually run by those exact same freedom fighters in Ireland that got independence. So I'm asking you, does England, right, does the UK have the right to Irish territory? Because Irish territory was taken through violence from the people that colonized it.
Mhm.
Which, by the way, the colonization of Ireland also happened hundreds of years ago. It actually happened longer ago than American colonialism. So do
So,
you believe that England has the right to Irish territory?
number one, I do believe England does have the right to Irish territory. That's number one. And number two, you're talking about where this actually got executed, meaning they did this resistance and it worked. Again, Israel's not going to let it work. They're not going to let them take their land. That's something that's completely different. If you're talking about a resistance group that actually succeeded and took over that place and now they're settling there for hundreds of years, I mean, yeah, that's kind of a point a little bit over there. But Israel's not going to let that happen. So whatever you
Wait,
want,
sorry, just to clarify, Josh, you believe that the UK has the right to Irish integral territory. That's your view.
while they were committing these acts before they got the land and they had before they got the land and they were staying there for hundreds of years, yes, British 100% did have a right back to that land. You
Why?
mean to tell me right now, if a state, let's say Brooklyn right now, everyone started revolting and started killing government officials, you think America doesn't have the right automatically then and there to go ahead and do something about those people?
What's the native population of Brooklyn?
I'm not talking about no native right now. I'm just saying,
But the
regardless,
Irish people are the native people of Ireland.
you're taking small points
But
out of
your
this.
comparison, you're comparing colonizers attacking other colonizers and natives attacking colonizers. Do you believe that the French have the right to Algeria?
If that's the same thing as Irish, yes.
Really? Do you believe that the
While
British have the
again,
rights to
again,
Namibia?
while it was happening.
So you believe that the colonizers were right in killing hundreds and hundreds and thousands of Algerians in Algeria's war for independence? You take the side of the colonizer, Josh.
I'm not taking no sides. A
You are.
colonizer
You are
side.
saying the colonizers have a right to do what they did.
A colonizer.
I mean, France was a colonizer to Algeria. It was a brutal colonizer to Algeria. And
Hmm.
you're saying that them killing a million Algerians was justified
Why did they kill these millions?
to maintain colonial control over the territory.
And it belonged to Algeria, this place?
No, it was a French colony.
Again, so if it belonged to the French, what is Algeria doing there murdering millions of people?
The French murdered millions of people.
So it belonged to the French. These people were there, and the French murdered them for no reason.
No, the French murdered them to maintain control of that region.
Why they were acting up?
Do you know what a colony is?
I mean, yeah, certain type of people.
Do you believe that? Okay, let's just start from the very low basics. Do you think modern day, if America invaded Mexico and took territory from Mexico, from that seizure, and moved Americans into that area, that America would have a right to that Mexican territory now that America has political and military control over it.
I mean, I'm kind of looking at these comments. People are saying Josh is brain dead. You monkeys, I'm 15 years old. Brain dead or not? Like,
Oh, you're 15? Bye-bye.
what do you mean?
I should have asked a while ago. My bad. He did not sound 15. That's my bad. I typically ask. Anyway. Thank you. He did not sound 15, but okay. So I will say, thank you so much to the people who are sending gifts. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to the people that are liking. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you to the people that are sharing. I greatly appreciate it. It's a lovely live and it's a lovely time. Thank you so much and much love. Yeah, okay. So this is a pretty good live. I'm gonna let Ask the Dark up just to let him know what's going on. Hello.
Will,
I've heard about you.
welcome, Will, to the Palestinian online community, brother.
Slick, get me in that Discord.
We're very happy to have you, brother.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Seriously, I've heard nothing but good stuff about you, brother.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I appreciate y'all sending gifts. That boosts the live quite a lot. It gets more views. So I appreciate it. Obviously, with the 1,000 people on here, that is incredible.
Yeah, no,
But I've also heard quite a lot. So my goodness.
W. Munir in the chat. Yo, that's Munir.
Oh my goodness.
He's a big supporter of the Palestinian community. I don't know if you saw it. He said if you rise as the doc, he'll drop you a lion. So there you go.
I did not see that actually. I just wanted to talk to you because I've heard quite a lot of good things about you. But yeah, also I'm trying to get on. I've been DMing with some people. I don't know who it was, but they told me that to show up to your live at some point. So I will absolutely whenever. I'll DM you as well. I think we follow each other. I think we followed each other for a while, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Well, I just followed you back. Yeah, so definitely we'll DM and we'll talk about it and we'll see what the time. You're in the UK?
Yeah.
Okay. What time is it there now?
It's about 12 o'clock.
Okay. We'll work on a schedule and we'll get it going.
Great.
Okay,
I
brother.
appreciate it.
Good to talk to you, man. Thank you for everything.
Yeah,
that
thank you
do.
so much.
Thank
you for the support. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Of course, brother. Take care.
You too. This is what we've needed. Guys, this is what we needed. Amazing. An amazing community. I've heard actually a lot about this community. And I've heard great things. So thank you so much. I much appreciate it. And that lion's insane. That's, I think, a $200 or $100 gift, which is wild. I think it costs 200 to give, so that's absolutely insane. So thank you so much. And it does boost the live, and that's what we've been needing, by the way, on the Palestinian side. Not to make it about money, but Israel has a lot more money than we do, and that speaks on TikTok when literally giving money boosts the live. Like it just works on it's how the thing works. So thank you so much. I love you all. That's insane. Let's let some more Israelis up, or Israel supporters, hopefully who are not 15. That would be nice, wouldn't it? All right. Thank you so much. Keep on sending likes, and I'm gonna keep adding people. Okay. Send a guest request to me if you disagree with me. Thank you so much. And send a guest request to me if you disagree with me. So this will end up on my YouTube. If you don't already follow my YouTube, it's linked in my bio. So I will be posting this on YouTube. If I don't get to it today, I will get to it tomorrow, hopefully. Once again, if you disagree with me, send a guest request. I'm trying to add some people in, but it's loading. Hello. Hello, Rush.
Hello.
Hi,
Hi.
would you send a guest request to disagree on?
Yeah, you said that is the British mandate was a trustee for the Palestinians. I
What I
heard you
said
talk
was
about
that
it.
what I verbatim said is that in effect they held it on trust. Yeah. So I was very specific with my language there. I know it's not a trust territory. That is a UN understanding. But they held it on trust for mandate and administration on behalf, right, of the Palestinian people to develop an independent Palestinian state. That was their explicit goal in maintaining the mandate.
Yeah, but where did you get this information? Because that
Well,
is
that's
the
just what a
first time
mandate
I
territory
ever heard
is.
this claim.
I get that information from it being called a mandate territory. So a mandate territory is like what South Africa had over Namibia, or what Australia had over West Irian, or what Indonesia had over certain parts of Malaysia, or what East Timor, or what I believe it's the Solomon Islands currently have over Bougainville. They have an obligation to recognize an independent country, independent government in that area by natives, when eventually they are able to
Yes, but
do that.
for example, when I look at their how they rule this land, they rule this land with an iron fist. Like like in the revolts when the Arab revolt against the British, then I mean, for me, anyone who can control the land is the owner of the land. If you can
So you
control it,
believe,
you own
okay,
it.
oh, okay, so you okay. So how do we determine who we support?
Support. What do you mean by support?
So how do you don't think that there's a good guy or a bad guy? You don't think that people have rights to land? You don't think indigenous people have
Oh
a
no,
right to
you
their land? Do
listen.
you
You can
believe, sorry,
support.
just to be very clear, do you believe indigenous people have a right to live in their land?
Of course, yeah.
But what if those indigenous people can't control the land? Do they lose that right?
They, that depends because they don't lose that right. But if you can't
So what
control
does a
the land,
right to land mean?
no, that your the right to for you to live in that land, it doesn't matter because you can rule the land. You can do it. So you can
Do
say,
you
"Oh, I
believe
have the
indigenous
right."
people have a right to self-determination?
Listen, yeah, of course. Listen, you can say whatever you like. You can say, "Oh, I have the right to this land," but rights and things like that is just in our imagination. There is no such thing as right for anything. It's in our
So you don't,
imagination.
okay, so you don't think when
It's like
Israel
money. It's
bases
like the
its
concept of money. Money is not real. It's the same thing. We don't have right to anything. That's a fiction in our minds.
So you don't think that these concepts or these constructions have any impact or matter at
No,
all?
no, they have something to do with reality, just like money. But those concepts are in our imagination. Like you can
But it's
say,
a
"Hey, I have
useless
the
thing
right."
to say,
Wait,
isn't
wait,
it?
just let me
Sorry,
finish.
just 1 second. No. Um, when we're trying to determine, as the US is, which is a third party, determine who we support and what we should spend money supporting, I think the lowest bar should be human rights. I think we should act in a way that promotes human rights. And Israel, which denies the Palestinians the right to live in their land, their human right to live in that land, we should not fund Israel that does that. We should use our diplomatic muscles to enable human rights and to push forward human rights. And you can say that they're all in our mind, that's fine. But unless you disagree that that is the moral thing to do, we have no debate.
No, but here's the thing. I would argue that the United States also have interest in that land. So let's say if the United States they want to rule, they want to support Israel, then they got their own interest on why they want to do it. They want to
So
do
do
it
you
because
support Iran funding Hamas?
no, I'm not supporting it.
But
But
okay,
but
so are
they
you
got
supporting? But I want to know
no.
your
I'm not.
position on American
Wait.
funding.
Let me just say I don't support Iran doing it because it's against me. But for them, in their side, they got their own interests. They do whatever they like. It's their own choice.
So here,
But I won't just stand. I would do anything against it. Any country have their own interest.
the foundation of morals is universality. Do you
No,
agree?
I'm not agree with that.
Okay, then what does it mean? Okay, so you're just saying anything that's good for me is good?
No, I'm not saying it. I'm saying it's not universal because some societies have different morals than others. For example, look at the Western societies and look at the Muslim societies. They got a different values.
There were, but the thing is if you say literally the exact same actions by one person versus another, and the only difference is if it supports your interests or supports their interests,
That's how
then
people. That's called
I know
reality.
it.
That's how
It can
people
no
act.
no.
That's called reality.
It's called egoism. That's a type of morality. It's
Okay,
just a
you can call
stupid
listen.
type
You
of.
can call it whatever you
It's
like.
just a stupid type of morality.
Okay, you can call it whatever you like, but it's reality. People do
Yeah, but it means
good
I
for
do. But if
themselves.
you're just
That's not
saying,
something new.
sorry, just to be very clear, if you're just saying I support America doing this because it benefits me, I don't care.
Okay, it's your opinion.
I
You're
just
entitled to
well,
you're
the thing
entitled
is
to
it's
your
not the debate.
opinion.
It does not matter. So the thing, if your only claim is this your only claim, I support America supporting Israel because it benefits us.
No, that's not. Oh,
Okay,
that's not what I said. I said if the United States got their own interest in Israel, then they can do it. They can support
I'm
Israel
not doubting that they can
because
do it. I'm
they
saying it's
don't.
the wrong for them to do it.
I don't think it's wrong for them
Okay,
because
great. Then make that claim. Are you
that's what
saying
I said.
just to make this really quick? Are you saying that it's not wrong for them because they have interests in doing it?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay,
Every
that's okay. If the then that is effectively saying it's not wrong because, or I support them doing it because it's not wrong, and it's not wrong because they have interests in it. So I support them for doing it because it serves their interests.
No, it's not. I didn't say support them. I said that they have any right to do whatever they
Okay,
like for the
I'm
country.
not
Just
saying they
like
don't have a right to do it.
I'll give
I'm
you an
just saying they
example. I'll give
shouldn't
you an
do it.
example. No, I'll give you an example because let's say you like to talk about the Native Americans. So let's say as just said, let's now assume that the Native American will form a group, a T group, let's say, and start blowing up buses. So in your mind, they got every right to do it because.
That's not what I
Bec
said.
okay, so what do you think about it?
Would I support Native American teaism? It's an interesting question. We would have to be extraordinarily specific about what they're doing, right, and
I
how
said,
they're
for
doing it,
example, going
and
on
if it
buses and blowing
viol
them up.
for what end?
They want their own, they want all of you to kicked out for their land. They say, oh, it's our land.
So no, they don't have an
You should kick.
international right to kick us out.
No, I'm not talking about the international right. I'm talking about what do you think?
Well, I believe that generally you should follow international law. That's a really low bar, right? So I
Yeah,
believe
but
the first
international
bar is,
law can be.
and the thing is the Native Americans have signed on to um, into treaties that recognize the validity of international law. That's the lowest bar. So, and let's actually just go a little lower. I think when you say something, you should follow it. Okay, so if you sign a treaty, you should follow it, and generally following treaties will be moral. Okay, um, and generally, it's well known the Native Americans don't have a right to expel everyone from their land. They do have a right to live on that land peacefully and with sovereignty. Okay, but they don't have a right to expel everyone from that land. That's the current position under international law. We could have a debate about that. That would be really interesting, right? But I
Yeah.
think that's a good starting point is international law.
No,
And so if they
I
were
don't think
trying
so
to
because
expel everyone from the land, I would disagree with it. If the US was infringing upon their rights and they were merely expressing their sovereignty, right, for example, by working against American troops that were doing it, or working against police, thank you so much, Elio, working against police who were enacting American laws on their land, I think that would probably be justified. Unaliving civilians for that end generally isn't justified. But, this is it's also drastically different when we're talking about Native Americans and and the United States citizens, right? Where the conflict of colonialism happened prior to the advent of international law. But now, in between Palestinians and Israelis, the conflict of colonialism, right, specifically 1948, is when we might start that foundation, is post the advent of international law. So both sides have signed on to treaties recognizing the validity of international law. So the starting point is both sides following what they said they would, and Israel is not.
And what about the Palestinians? And by the way,
Well,
about the international law, I don't agree because laws are again made by people. So eventually they can be changed, and not everybody is following the international law. So and by the way, the Palestinians also are not following the international law, and they're doing what they're doing. I don't need to tell you what they're doing. That is not they're not following the international law, like unaliving those children and babies. This is also not following in the international law. So I can make the same claim. I can make the same argue.
well, the difference is you want to fund one side that is not following international law, and I want to fund neither.
No, but the problem is that what you're thinking that the United States are actually you said that the United States is ethnically cleansing, and you're not supporting their morality and way of thinking. So maybe the United States, in your eyes, are doing the same thing, basically.
110%. America has a
Okay,
long
so
history of ethnically cleansing the Native Americans, and I don't support that long history.
why are you
Absolutely.
expecting them for following the international law?
Well,
If that's your mindset.
because I'm not the American government. So how we do this is I'm only wrong if I'm internally contradicted. So if on one hand I said it was okay for America to ethnically cleanse, and on the other I said it wasn't okay for Israel to ethnically cleanse, I would be wrong. Like when you said it's okay for America to further its interests, but it's not okay for Iran to further its interests.
I did again. I
That
didn't say
is
it's not okay.
contradictory.
Yeah, I
That
didn't
is
say it's not
contradictory.
okay. I already told you Iran can do whatever they like. Iran got their own interests. Every country got their own interests. They can do whatever they like.
But
And
that
the
doesn't
only
mean
one
that them doing it is good. So
I didn't say
we're talking
anything about good or not good.
then
I
okay,
said
but
if
the
they
thing is
have the
this is
right
my
to
whole
do
point.
it.
You're not saying anything.
I am saying
Rights,
I am saying
rights,
because good.
rights are
What
moral
is good? Okay,
statements.
let me ask you this. What is good?
Wait, Rush, what is a right?
No, I'm asking you. I asked you first. What is good? You said
That
good.
which okay,
Is
good
it
is that
good
which we
or
have
not good? What is good?
good
Because
is
what
that
good's for
which
me is not what good's for you.
good is that which we have a moral imperative to do. Rush, right is a moral term. For one to have a right is to make a moral statement of facts. That's what the
What?
word means.
But again, but when you say moral, what do you mean by moral? Moral is made by people. People decides what morals. People, society
I
decides
disagree.
what is their
I think
morals.
I think murder in absence of witnesses would still be immoral.
Okay, but let's say there is a society which, in their mind, murder is something good. For example,
And they would
if
be
some,
wrong.
but in your eyes, but in their eyes, they are right.
Yeah,
So
and
the
my eyes are
society itself,
correct.
no, the society itself, they decides what right and what is
I
not right.
disagree.
For example, you disagree. I disagree with
Yeah,
you.
and they are
Okay.
wrong. And there were
Why
there were
do you? But
societies
I
that
said, why do you
but the
think they
thing
are
is
wrong?
this
And you're
is
saying, oh,
similar.
it's universal morals. That's not true.
Yes. So
There
well,
is
the
no
thing is here is there is
universal
a
moral.
fundamental basis of morality that we could get into an epistemic discussion if we want to. That's not really the point we're making.
That's
But
exactly the point.
there
Because
are,
I'll give you
I
an
know, but it's a
example. There
bad
are
point.
some.
So Rush, one second, one second.
How do
There are societies that believed that the Earth was the center of the universe. And there are societies that believe that the sun is what the Earth revolves around. Does that mean that what the center of the universe is and what revolves around what is
no,
determined by
that has nothing to
society?
do. No, that has nothing to do with it because
But that's your whole
uh,
entire argument.
no, because the fact that the word is around and not flat, for example, this is a fact that you can actually check. There's no
And I can
interpretation.
actually check whether murder is immoral.
How you can check it? I'll give you an example. Okay, so there's a society in Africa. There.
You want me to
Listen.
provide
Just
the full
let me say one
epistemic
thing. One point.
underlying of objective morality.
Listen. There is a society, for example, in Africa of hunter gatherers. Hunter gatherers. They are the ones who they move from place to place, There's a small group of people. Okay, so those people, what they are doing when they're one of their elders are getting hurt or something like that. If he's an old man, you just leave him to die for himself. In their eyes, that's the moral things to do, and they're always doing it.
Okay,
They just
so
leave their dead.
Rush,
They always to die. So, in your eyes, that is immoral things to do. But in their eyes, that's the most moral thing and noble things to do.
as I've said, this argument for moral relativism isn't valid. If your argument is that morals are relativistic because people have different opinions on what is moral,
No, I
then you
didn't
would
say
have
opinions. I didn't say opinions.
beliefs as to what is
No,
moral,
I said people decide.
views.
No, I said people decide
Okay, but
based on,
prove
let's
the
say, I
thing
don't
is
know, history,
do
based
people
on
decide? Okay,
whatever they grew up on.
do people decide if the Earth is flat?
No, because this is something you can actually check.
But the thing
But
is,
morals,
Rush, one second, you're not understanding what I'm saying, or you are, and you're just either ignoring it or incredibly, I don't know, limited in intelligence.
no, I think maybe you're
You are
limited in
pointing.
intelligence because
Okay,
what you're
well,
trying to
that was
do
a really
is to
that was
make
a
that
middle school
emotion. No,
level
you're trying to say
response.
that emotion and think that I think about the words. Those things are basically universal, and we know for a fact that's not true.
Okay, the
Values
universality.
and morals around the world are not
One
universal.
second. Okay, but neither is
For
the belief
example, I
that the
told you,
Earth is
look at the Muslim
round.
societies and how they treat women, and look at Western society and how they treat women. In their eyes, this is good. In your eyes,
And they
it's
are,
bad.
and I'll
And
reiterate.
any Muslim would argue with you about that and will say to you the same thing.
Okay, Rush. And I'll reiterate that they are wrong in the exact same way that people who believe the Earth is flat are wrong, and we can prove it. That's the whole entire underpinning of the study of epistemics. Do you know what the study of epistemology is?
Okay, yes, I know. So basically, prove to me.
What is the study of
No, no,
epistemology?
wait. I
You
want
said
you
you
to
know what
prove
is
to me.
it. What is it,
I
Rush?
know what it is. What is it?
Okay, what
I
is
want
it?
you. No, but before that, just
What
want
is
you
it?
to say
So
to
what
me.
is it?
So
What is it?
you basically can check.
So Rush, what is it?
No, yes. So you basically can check fact by fact slowly.
What's the definition of epistemology?
Yes, so I'm trying because I don't have the. My language is not exactly, but what I'm trying to say, the epistemology is basically checking things from small, and you can go after to let's say bigger things,
No,
more or less.
not really.
Okay, so go ahead, tell me.
Okay. I'm annoyed and I'm going to move on, but it was mildly tolerable speaking to you. I'm going to go to bed at 12:30 today, my loves. Okay? I'm going to go to bed at 12:30 today, which means I have 20 more minutes probably, because I need to sleep at a reasonable hour because I'm going back into uni. But thank you so much, everyone. And I'm going to let some other people up. Well, let's talk for a second with this guy.
Oh,
Hello.
brother, how you doing?
Doing real well. How about you?
I'm doing great, doing great. I did not want to take up too much time. I didn't even think you were going to bring me up, to be honest with you. No, but listen, I appreciate what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
If I could say anything, keep doing what you're doing. That's it. I just want to keep seeing all what you're doing because it's effective. It is straight to the point, and I don't think I've seen um, as many people dissect what you do with with the Zios. There's only probably a handful. There's only a few that I can name off like just off my left hand in regards to literally the way you're doing it is just diabolical is a bad word, but it would be something appropriate to what
Surgical is probably the word you're
surgical.
searching for.
There you go. Surgically diabolical. There you go. No, I'm just
Well,
messing up.
thank you. And the reason I brought you up, obviously not take up time, yeah, but generally just building community is great. So if you ever want me on live, or if there's a community, if there's work, or if
I
there's
would love
information or something like that, shoot me a DM and I'm happy to work with you
I
all.
would
So yeah,
love for you to be on the panel. Like I said, current events, anything that you would feel comfortable with to speak about, you're more than welcome. I would love to hear your voice on my side, if you can. I appreciate it,
wonderful,
brother. Thank you so
Well,
much. Have a
appreciate
good
coming
one.
up.
Don't be late for
You
tomorrow
too.
for school, okay, bro? Take care, bro. Thank you.
You too. Just saying, yeah, building community is important, and that's my goal on this thing is to build community. So if you are Palestinian, if you are pro-Palestinian, I will say I probably need to update this bigotry. I'm gonna update it like the second I'm off the live, but I have a Discord. If you want to talk with me or build community, and we can talk on there. But I need to update it. So anyway, love you all. And thank you so much. Also, the other thing is I do have a YouTube, and TikTok doesn't like me, so do go follow my YouTube, because TikTok doesn't like me. So it's linked to my bio on my link tree. Go to Linktree, and that would be great. Okay, so I'm literally gonna replace this now, but okay. I will say I'm just gonna try and take some time to. Oh my! Wow. Okay, lots of people going on. Right.
Hello, well,
Hi. Would you send a guest request to disagree on?
I will give you an example to make my point clear to you. Well, you do have two sons and you give them money equally. One of them built a company and the company grew up and he started investing, helping poor people. And the other kid he used the money for the drugs and become homeless. Which one you are proud of and you like most?
Relevance to topic.
No, what did you say?
I would be proud of all of my sons equally and ubiquitously because they
Even
are
the one, even the one he's homeless and did not do anything to himself?
Yeah, I would believe in all. I would be proud of all of my children equally, like a good parent would be.
Okay, that's you. Now look at the ground. Who built a country that protect human rights? Israel
Well,
or
which
Palestine?
human rights for who? And also, I disagree that if we want to take this analogy, and the West is the father, and then Palestine and Israel are the children. Israel didn't build that by themselves, and certainly didn't build it in the way that it could have. It got billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars in defense and direct civil, support, as well as diplomatic and free trade support to boost its economy.
Now my
It's no
question,
surprise, regardless of the people, it's absolutely no surprise to me that Israel would have the economy that it has, while the Palestinians, who have been under consistent siege and occupation,
that's not true.
have not. Okay, when have they not been under occupation?
Okay, if you go to the history, you're going to see the whole Middle East has been occupied by Arab Muslims. If you come to the occupation, where is the land of the Assyrian? Where is the land of the Ashuri? Where is the land of the Amazigh? Where is the land of the...
Angel, are you just claiming that they've always been occupied?
Yeah, the whole Middle East has
Okay,
been
so
occupied.
they've always been
And let
occupied.
me, just a second, let me.
So I said that they were always occupied and you agreed?
The whole Middle East has been occupied by Arab Muslim.
Once again,
So
you
when
just want to shift
Israel
blame, but they're still
came-
occupied. We can have a debate about who it was. I
Okay,
disagree with this analysis, but you're
For
agreeing with
me-
my conclusion.
let me tell you my idea. For me, I don't care who's occupying the land. I care for whoever protecting human rights. Look at the whole Middle East. It's the all refugee. Why people are refuging from there going to the West? Why? Because there is no human rights. There is no one Arab country protects your right as a human, or not even giving you a service as a human. So when you come to the Israel and you are saying, no, they are occupying, well, you know what? Go ahead and ask the Arab from 48 and ask them who you want to be under Israeli government or Palestinian government. I guarantee you they will tell you under Israeli government. You know why? Because their right as a human is being protected. Not like the H group. They don't care about people.
So, Angel, you realize that occupation is a violation of human rights, right?
Yes, and I just said the
So it
whole.
is not possible, sorry, Angel. So it is not possible for an occupying body to respect human rights.
Oh, no. You are making a mistake. Listen, if you look in the histories, I just said the whole Middle East has been occupied by Arab Muslims.
I
They took
categorically
the land
disagree
from
with
other
that.
nations and they claim it to themselves. And do you see
Really?
how there is no one country protecting human rights in Middle East? Because
Wait, so
yes, they are
you're claiming that,
occupying.
sorry, you're claiming that the Hashemite kings in Jordan and the Iranian theocracy in Iran are both occupied by the same power?
Listen, I'm
Are you saying
saying
Iran,
about the
sorry, are you saying
original
that
people.
are you saying that Iran is occupied by Arabs?
No, not Iran. I did not say Iran. I said Middle East. Middle East,
Iran, okay.
it's the Arab country from the east to the west, whatever they call it, Watan Arabi, whatever they call it,
I'm
Arab
pretty sure,
countries. It's been
I may be
occupied
wrong
by
here.
Arab
Is
Muslims.
Iran,
That's why they did
Iran
not
is in
build
the
a
Middle East.
country.
Iran is in the Middle East.
Okay, you're gonna give me a chance to
Well,
let
you
you
just
know what
lied.
I'm thinking about.
You
Okay,
said, well, I have,
okay.
and you're wrong.
No, I'm not. I'm
Well,
not.
you said that all of them were occupied by Arabs. Iran is a non-Arab country in the Middle East.
Why you jump to Iran? What about Iraq? What
Well,
about Syria?
you said all.
What about Egypt? What
Wait, but
about
Angel,
Morocco?
if there's one, then you are wrong when you say all.
Now, I just said to you, the Israelis government, they were able to build a country. They are protecting all the human rights. There is
Not
no,
all of the human rights.
all the human rights has been protected in Israel.
It's
If
just not
anyone
true.
could not build a country, they are the Arab Palestinians. And for the funds, let me tell you the statistics. There is 5.2 billion. It's been funded to Palestinians. What they did to it? Can you name me one thing they did?
So, just to be extraordinarily clear, Angel, I don't know. Actually, I'm just going to speak to the chat for a second. Thank you, General. I don't know how long people have been watching me, but what is the one thing that I hate the most? There is one type of person that I hate the most. And if longtime viewers can tell the rest of the chat, that type of person, there's one. And that's why I don't typically try to engage with them. So I don't think you intended to lie, Angel, but you did. You said something that wasn't true.
I'm lying.
So can you admit it and correct yourself?
No, I am a shorty from Iraq, and my country has been taken from me. And now it calls it Iraq when it's not before. Before was not Iraq.
Yeah, and
Now
before
they
Iran was
call
named
it Iraq.
Persia
The
and
Arab took
Iraq
it
was
from
named
me.
Babylonia, I don't doubt that. But what you said was not true. Iran is not an Arab nation, and Iran is in the Middle East. You're
I
just
say,
wrong.
you know what?
You said that
You
all of
trying
the Middle Eastern.
you
You
trying to
said that
play with the
all of the
words.
Middle Eastern. You said that
You
all Middle Eastern.
listen.
Okay, what did you say then?
Well, just a second. I think you are with the wrong people. You just said in the previous conversation, bad people and good people. Do you think the Arab they are good people?
I think Arabs are incredible people.
Okay. Name me one country, Arab country, that protect human rights and there is no refugee from them.
There's not a country in the world that ubiquitously protects human rights.
Really? Have you heard
Yeah,
a
name a
refugee from
single one.
Israel?
Wait, so having a refugee is drastically different. Also, yeah, there are 750,000 refugees from the modern territory of Israel. It's called the
Well,
Nakba refugees.
now when you are saying good people and bad people, I don't think you are. I feel you are just biased with the organization that you're trying to build. Though, and congratulations for the line. The person who sent you the line should have sent
Angel,
it
I
to the
don't
children and the women
Angel,
that they
I
are
don't make nearly
suffering
enough.
in Gaza instead of you.
Once
But
again, I don't make nearly
money
enough money
talks,
off of
right?
this to, well, Angel, I don't make nearly enough money off of this for you to come after me for the money I make off
No,
of it.
no,
That's
I'm not
just
coming after
fundamentally
you.
absurd.
See, look,
Then don't comment on the money
congratulations
that
on all
comes
this
in.
money, but you
But
are on the wrong side of the history, dear. You
then
go
talk
back
about
and
that.
read the history a little
Don't
bit,
just
and
be
then you.
racist.
No, I'm not. I'm not. You are wrong. You just are not understanding
Do
where I
you
am
think that
coming from.
Arabs are good people?
No, they are not.
That's
If
just
you,
racist.
no, it's not. If you live with them, go and watch their YouTube and listen to the
My dear
Palestinian people.
friends, my
Listen,
dear friends are from what?
listen. Go to the YouTube and watch the Palestinians how they are teaching their kids how to become a T group, blowing themselves in buses, in honest people to go to heaven. You have no idea about their religion, what they believe in. You have no idea. I'm
I
not
know
saying
quite a
all of
lot
them they
about
are bad,
Islam.
but most of them is.
Do you want to talk about Islam?
What?
Let's talk their religion, Islam. Do you want to talk about Islam?
Are you Muslim?
No, but I have a deep respect for Islam, and I find it absolutely despicable for you to slander it like that.
Oh no, I have no respect to Islam.
Why do you have no respect for Islam?
Because Islam is the reason all the problems in the world is happening right now. Even the war
That's
in Israel
fascinating.
is because of Islam. They don't care about land. They care about what they want. It's all about religion.
all of the problems in the world. So the genocide of the Buddhists by the Hindus in Desi areas, right, between
Do
India.
you know? Do you have
Sorry,
an idea
Angel,
about
Angel, Angel,
genocides
Angel, Angel, Angel,
that Muslims did to
Angel,
the Hindus?
Angel, 1 second.
65 billion
Angel,
people it's
Angel,
been slaughtered by
Angel.
Muslims.
The genocide of Buddhists by Hindus in India and Tibet, how is that the Muslims' fault?
You know, when I am mentioning you something, you're going back to something else. Like you don't
Because you
want
never
to.
answered me,
No,
Angel.
no. You are not going to the point that I'm trying to make. You
I
just
know, because your point
flipping
is
around.
racist.
No. Okay, racist for you, yeah. Okay,
It's
I don't care.
objectively racist, so
I
I'm
don't
asking you.
care.
But
Say
you
what,
said
they are
something, once
racist
again.
too. If they come to your country and your country becomes Sharia law, then they will know what they are. You know, you have
You
no idea
realize
what Islam is about. When they have Sharia law in your country, then you will understand what's going on.
Okay.
But anyway, you know what?
You realize that
I
multiple. Sorry, just let's talk about Iran for a second.
No. I'm not here for
Oh,
Iran. Listen, I'm
but
not
you're
here for
lying.
Iran. I said Arab country. Iran, it's Persian. It's not Arab. But you are trying
And
to
it's
play
Middle
with the
Eastern.
words. You're trying to play with the
You
words to
said that all
support
Middle Eastern
terrorists.
countries were occupied by Arabs.
All the Arab in the Middle East are occupied by Arab.
Okay.
Yeah? Do
I
you
mean,
know
that's
the
not what you
history?
said, though.
Do you know the history?
That's just not what you said, though.
What did I say?
You said that all the countries in the Middle East were occupied by Arabs.
Well, Arab countries in the Middle East, yes or no?
But not all of the countries in the Middle East are Arab.
Okay, the Arab country, they are in the Middle East, or yes or
So
no?
what you said originally was incorrect.
Yes or no?
Well,
Where the Arab countries located?
Well, not all of them are in the Middle East.
Not all of them in the Middle East?
No.
What they call it then?
Well, Sudan is not in the Middle East, but it's an Arab country.
Sudan?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea about geography?
Is Sudan in the Middle East?
Oh, mine.
No, it's not.
But anyway, you know what? You cannot face the fact
Do we
you are
want to pull up a map
supporting
of the
T
Arab
group.
League?
You are
Do you
supporting
wait? Are you wait?
T
Sorry, Angel.
group.
Angel, are you saying that Sudan is in the Middle East?
Listen, you are supporting T group. You know why?
Angel,
It's either for the
Angel,
money
no,
or
I'm
you
not.
are brainwashed.
Angel, I'm just not gonna speak to someone that can't speak to me. Angel,
I was so clear there.
Angel.
I was so clear. All the Arab countries,
Angel.
whoever they are saying Arab countries,
But you said the Middle East.
yes, they are located in Middle East, dear. Go back
Not
to
all
the
of them
history
are.
and read and know about Arab. Okay, have you asked yourself why the whole Middle East is Arab?
The whole Middle East isn't Arab. There you go again. That's not true. Iran is non-Arab.
You consider Iran in the Middle East?
Everyone considers Iran in the Middle East. Yes.
Okay. When I mean in the Middle East, it's the Arab countries. They are not all Arab countries. It's been occupied by Arab. Do you see my point? Or you just wanted to flip around and just do not talk about it?
Well, I just wanted to say something that's true.
I was so clear. I said all the
And
Arab.
you were very
I said
clear.
all the Arab countries. It's been occupied by Arab now.
And it was really, really clear what you said. You said all of the Middle East was occupied by Arabs. That's not true. Then you went on to claim something pretty close to saying that all of the Arab countries were in the Middle East. Also not true.
What's the truth for you?
Well, the truth is that not all of the Arab countries are in the Middle East, and not all of the Middle Eastern countries are Arab. It's really that basic.
Have you asked yourself why all the countries are Arab?
All what countries are Arab?
All the countries that they call themselves Arab?
Yeah, it's an ethno-linguistic group. The same reason that there are French Creoles.
Have you asked yourself
the same reason there are French Creoles in Louisiana.
Have you asked yourself where is the original people of the land?
The original people of the land? Well, it's fascinating. So cultures affect other cultures. For example, the Palestinian peoples and the Jordanian peoples are Arab and have gotten a lot of their culture from Arabs, right? But that is due to an Arab occupation. But it doesn't mean that the Palestinians, right? Doesn't mean that the Palestinians are occupiers. Actually, a lot of them have traces back to Canaanite, Bronze Age people prior to Arabization. So they are the native
And now
peoples
the
of that
second
land.
question, you did not answer me. Who built the country to protect human rights, Palestinians or Israelis?
Well, Israel has multiple ICJ court cases against it, showing they consistently violate and disrespect human rights. So I don't think, just to be very clear, there is not a single country in the world that has a clean case of human rights. But Israel, who has consistently both illegally occupied territories in Palestine and denied refugees access who are native.
Can you please answer my question? Is it H group protecting human rights?
I don't believe they are, but I also don't believe the IDF is.
Okay. Now, when you are talking about the funds to Israel, what about the funds to Palestine? What they did to it?
From America?
Yes, from the America. There's
I'm not aware of any
billion dollars. It's been funded to Palestine. So what happened to it?
Well, portions of it, right, went to humanitarian aid directly to the civilians. But just to be extraordinarily clear, Angel,
where
what
is
I'm
the
talking
portion?
about, I mean, a huge portion, actually, because there
where
are
is
2 million.
Proof?
Well, the 2 million people that are still alive there.
5.2 billion since 1994. It's been given to Palestine. They did
to
not even
2
build
million people.
one refugee a safe place for their people. You are talking about human rights with them?
Okay, so following 2012, there was an illegal blockade. How can they build a country under an illegal blockade?
Oh, They had the chance to build a country, but they did not.
When?
They
When?
did not. They
When?
did not.
When did they have that
Because
chance?
they did not. They had
When?
three
When did
wars
they
with
have that
Israel.
chance? When did
There
they
is
have
the
that
three
chance?
wars with Israel. Israel win in them, but Israel give them the land with the peace. They have
Israel
like a
maintained
contract
its illegal.
land
Israel
for the
maintained its
peace,
illegal
but they
occupation.
did not maintain their land. They did not build a country protecting their human rights.
What
Now
time period are
Israel
you
is having
talking?
a war.
What time period are you talking?
Well, there is a three wars in the history.
Be specific.
76, 94. There is a three wars in history. I'm not sure
When
about
were
the
the three
dates.
wars you're referencing?
There is a three wars between Israel and Arab people. Go ahead and Google it. And
But you don't know? Wait,
all
Angel, you
these
don't know?
wars, Israel was the winner.
Angel, you don't know?
I'm telling you, there is a three wars. I'm
And
not sure about the
what are the
dates.
three wars you're referring to?
I'm not sure about the dates between Israel and Arab. And in all these three wars, Israel win. And when they win, they took piece of land. Now, this land, it's become a country. Not even the Arab inside the Israel, they don't want it to have Palestinians government over their head. But now,
Okay, so Angel, this is really simple. Territory gained in armed conflict. Under international law, is that admissible in a court of justice?
no, it's not. And you know
Okay.
what? It's their land. It's not Arab's land. It's
So I
their
don't think,
land.
do you know what it means to be admissible in a court of justice?
No, it's their land. And you know, the proof it's their land, they build it well. They have it, a big city with beautiful, and the living in there, it's so awesome. And look at the other side of Palestinians, how they are living.
That's fascinating. So do you believe that let's take a really simple example. In apartheid South Africa, the native Africans lived in ghettos and lived in incredibly economically underdeveloped areas. And the British colonialists lived in very, very wealthy areas with high-level industries in them. Do you believe that the British colonialists in apartheid South Africa gained the right to the land and actually had a greater right to that land because their areas were wealthier and better developed?
Well, you are comparing to something, it's not relative.
But
Like
I'd love an
British,
answer.
they occupied the whole world back then. So it doesn't matter. You are talking about we are talking about two group of people. One of them it's building for the human rights, and the other one it's just building for the interest of themselves. They don't care about the people. Israeli now, it's in a war with, there is no army. They are hidden behind the children and women's. And now you are telling me
I'm asking
I'm going to
specifically
support
about a
these
comparison.
cowards that they are hiding behind the children and women's? For what? For what
Well,
reason you support them?
Angel, I'm being extremely specific. And I'm talking about one justification at a time. Do you think that it's fair to have one argument at a time, Angel?
What kind of argument?
Just one point that we respond to. Do you think that that's a fair way to have a discussion?
Go ahead.
But I want you to be on board with this discussion as well.
What? Go ahead. What kind of discussion you? When I'm trying to point a finger to one thing, you are flipping around. You are not talking about the specific things I mean.
Angel,
your argument is you are
Angel,
like going around the circle. Go ahead.
Angel, the reason you feel that way is because you keep on moving from one point to another point to another point to another point, and they're unrelated.
No, they are all related.
I know, but they're tangentially related. But the point I want to have is I want to actually have a back and forth about one of your arguments. And the reason you feel that I keep circling back is because you keep moving on without us actually having a discussion. So we get nowhere. So I'd like to talk about one point.
Okay? Go ahead.
And then we can have that. Do you think that that's how we have a discussion?
Go ahead.
Okay. I'd prefer if you were on board with this, but that's fine. Fundamentally, I made the comparison to apartheid South Africa because the justification you're giving would apply. If you believe that Israel has a right to the land because of its economic development, then you would apply that ubiquitously. You would believe that the French in Algeria, or the Germans in Tanzania, or the Dutch in South Africa, or the British in South Africa, or the British in Rhodesia would have those rights. But obviously it doesn't. Obviously that's not how it works. Just because the colonizer and the Western power has more money, has more access to, thank you so much, has more access to capital, does not mean that they have the right to colonize. And you're making the exact same argument
But
that supporters of apartheid South Africa made. And it
but
is just as
Israel did not
racist.
occupy the land, dear. You are making a big mistakes. They did not occupy there. It was their land from the beginning. From the beginning in the history, it's their land. It calls Jerusalem, it calls Israel. It's not been occupied by them. You are making a wrong conception about the South Africa, whatever it is. It doesn't relate it to Israel.
Okay, so you're saying it's different because the Israelis are indigenous.
Yes,
Okay, are the Israelis the only indigenous peoples?
yes, to that land, yes.
Okay, that's an interesting discussion. You don't think that many Palestinian people are indigenous?
Do you know that the Palestinians people that they have the land in Jerusalem, they still there? Whoever did not
Angel,
sold their land, it's still living in there under Israeli's government. Do
Angel,
you know that?
do you believe that a convert to Judaism is indigenous to the land of Israel?
No, it's nothing to do with the religion in there, because the government in there, it's not religion. It's nothing to do with the
Okay,
religion.
so, but if Israel is a state of indigenous peoples, why do they allow converts the right of return in the way of indigeneity?
Because their history is there. They have history in the land,
But you're
dear.
recognizing that Israel is accepting non-indigenous people into its state under the guise of indigeneity. Doesn't that undermine fundamentally the entire claim to indigeneity that Israel has?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, how?
Because Israel they build a government. It's not based on religion.
But it's
They
based on
have
their claim to
Christian.
indigeneity.
No. They have Christian, Muslims, Arab, all kind of nationality in this land living equally. There is no.
What gives Israelis the right to live there? Thank you for the gift as well.
I just told you it's their land historically.
So it's their
land.
historical tie to the land.
It is their land. You keep saying.
Yes, exactly. But it's not. But this goes person by person as well. Israel gets the right to the land because they have a historical tie to it. So therefore, the people that claim to be a part of Israel would also have to have a historical tie to the land, correct?
No, it hasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, when you build
why?
a country,
What is Israel composed of if not its people?
when you build a country and you accept all the kind of nations and different people in the land, it's totally different. You don't have to be like you have history in the land to live there. No, I mean your
So what does it mean? What does it mean that Israel has always been there?
It's always,
because the only thing I could
land.
understand that to mean, but it's whose land?
It's Israelis' land. But they built.
Is it the land of converted Jews?
It's the.
But they are Israelis.
Oh,
like that's the difficulty I'm having. Only indigenous people get to claim indigeneity. Converts into Judaism are not indigenous, so they do not get to claim indigeneity. Okay.
I think you are confused. I'm not sure you are trying to confuse or you are really confused.
So if Israel is composed of indigenous people, then it should only enact that claim of indigeneity on those who are indigenous. But it doesn't. Since the beginning of the State of Israel in 1948, they have allowed converts into Judaism to claim the right of return under Israeli law. So when you have a claim to indigeneity, but swath of people who you accept under that claim are not in fact indigenous. I don't trust you anymore, and you lose your whole claim.
Okay. Enjoy your gifts. They should have given it to the
Once again,
people,
Angel, you can make a personal
and
attack of
children that they
me
are
when you
suffering
don't
in Gaza,
understand
but
me.
shame on you.
Do you want to have a
Not you. I'm
disagreement,
sorry.
Angel, or
Shame
no?
on them to give you the gifts. Go ahead. Thank you so much for your time.
Bye-bye, Angel. There's no reason for a personal comment or attack. When you don't understand me, I'm happy to explain myself again. But thank you so much for the gifts. Genuinely, I do want to make this clear. On average, I make less than minimum wage doing this, and this is labor. So, feel bad. I don't know. But I do appreciate all the people giving the gifts, and they also do have a tactical benefit. See this number of 1,700 people? That is because of the gifts. TikTok benefits those lives that get gifts. That's just the fact. So I appreciate this is labor. Thank you for the money, and I much love. And it does get views, and that's what matters, getting eyes and ears on this issue. So thank you. Once again, if you disagree with me, I'm just to make this easier on myself. If you disagree with me, send a guest request. If you don't disagree with me, don't send a guest request. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's see if this person's on. If you don't disagree with me, don't send a guest request. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the gifts. This is actually incredible, and that's why we're getting incredible views on this live. Thank you so much. Hello.
Hi, Will. Hi, Will. How are you?
Doing well. What did you send a guest request to disagree on?
The whole argument, like front to back, the whole argument. So yeah, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that. Sorry, do you mind me asking, Will? Are you a Muslim?
No.
Okay, fine. Do you have a religion?
Well, I'm religiously Unitarian Universalist, but like faith-wise, I'm agnostic atheist.
Okay, fair enough. And can I ask if you're straight or gay? Or is that too much to ask?
I mean, I'm pretty openly gay on this platform.
Okay, fantastic. So why are you supporting Hamas?
I don't.
Well, it's pretty. Yes, you do. I've been listening for about
Okay,
2
if you want to
hours
tell
now.
me what I support, that's an interesting tactic, but it doesn't make it true.
Okay, we can have this conversation. So yeah, the way that you're speaking about how the Palestinians have been treated and how it's all Israel's fault, I think is completely
Never said it was all
misleading.
Israel's fault. I think America
Okay,
shares quite a lot of blame as well, and so does England.
okay, yeah, I understand. Definitely us. I'm in the UK now, and we
As am I.
share. Yeah, so okay, so I didn't realise, but yeah, so do you think that you would be welcome to the Gaza Strip?
No, but as of now, I also wouldn't be welcome to Israel
Sorry, wait, why wouldn't you?
because of my extensive activist actions, working against the genocidal actions of the state of Israel. I'd
Okay,
probably
so
get
you
I'd
again,
probably get stopped
okay.
at border
That's good. That's a
security.
good point. That's a good point. But that's because of your activism against Israel, right? Whereas
Yeah, so that's
just for
against
you
freedom of
being
speech, a
your own
fundamental
human
human
self,
right.
you being a gay man, right? You being a gay man, right? Just not with activism. Take activism out of it. You take the activism
Why?
away
Because it doesn't benefit your point?
because you're trying to skew the issue completely
Well,
towards
you
your
asked me
point.
if I would be welcome, and you asked
Why?
me
I
whether I
don't
wouldn't be
understand.
welcome.
So please explain to me why a gay man would support an authoritative regime that would
I
want to
don't. Did I ever
destroy
say I
all
supported?
homosexual people? Why would you do that? Like,
Did
why?
I ever say that I
I don't
supported
understand.
Hamas as a regime?
Well, but yeah, you did. You have done,
When?
undeniably. Sorry.
When?
So, because you're saying that what Israel have done is worse than what Hamas did.
No, I never said that.
You intimated it.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So why are you putting your flag up and waving it around for Palestine? Where were you when there were Arab on Arab fighting in Yemen over the last 10 years? 10,000 people have been, no, nearly 20,000 people have been killed. Saudi
Actually, in this
Arabia,
discussion,
what happened there?
I've called on my nation to end support of the Yemeni civil war, because we
Okay.
actually do send, and Syria as well. So if we want to talk about this, the actions of the U.S. in supporting certain factions within Syria, within Afghanistan, within Yemen, right, within Libya, all have been disgusting. Unfortunately, all of those
And Jordan.
conflicts started in Georgia,
Jordan.
Jordan. The Hashemite kings that we've supported within Jordan have been despicable, as have them in Saudi Arabia, which we also supported. Um, Actually, we supported most of the Sunni regimes within the Middle East. But
Okay. So
the thing is, Looney, is where was I? Well, I was an infant when most of those conflicts started. 10 years ago, I was 9 years old. Do you want me talking about geopolitics when I'm 9 years old? No, I'm talking about the conflict that has actually gotten notably more hot, right? In that many more, missiles have been fired, many more lives have been lost within the past 2 months when I've been of age and actually know what I'm talking about pretty well. So, where was I? In my mother's womb during the start of the Yemeni crisis. Like, what?
doesn't mean you can't still, when you say, oh, this is why are there so many Western gay people standing up for a Muslim and all, how many Arab countries? There's 47 Arab countries. Can you tell me, out of the 47 Arab countries, how many would welcome in an openly gay person?
Well, that's not the point at hand. I don't think that you have to
Well, yes,
recognize
it
my.
is. Surely.
Sorry, it is. It isn't
You're
a Looney.
conflicting. You're conflicted. You're
I don't.
arguing
So,
about a
Looney,
point.
I don't. First of all, there are 22 Arab countries.
There's
Second of all,
47.
I mean, do we want to name them? Let's go. Name the 47, because I can name the 22.
Oh, good God. Are you going to count Malaysia and Philippines?
Malaysia's not an Arab country.
Okay. What about the Philippines?
Philippines not an Arab country as well.
Okay. All right. So I thought it was 47. I'd stand corrected on that. No problem. I'm happy to concede on that point. In fact, I don't even
Okay.
want this to be an argument. I want it to be a debate, right? And I'm happy to
Okay. So
debate you.
the thing about this is, and it's I'd love for a debate as well. The thing is, the fundamental point you're making is that if people don't support my human rights, I shouldn't support theirs. I disagree.
So you're supporting people. It's basically saying it's like a chicken standing outside KFC
Well,
saying,
I love that
"We
you've
want to be killed.
I
We
love that
want to
you've
be
read that
killed."
meme. I love that you've read that meme, Looney.
There's loads of examples of double
Yeah,
standards.
and go on
That's
Reddit
just
if you want
one.
to share. Go on Reddit if you'd like to share that meme. I'm sure there's a good illustration. It doesn't mean that it's true. Me
So
supporting,
what do you mean it
sorry,
doesn't mean it's
me,
true? Sorry,
Looney,
what do you mean it doesn't mean it's true? If
because
you were to go to
here's
an
what's more
Arab
accurate.
country, you would be persecuted and you would go to jail for at least 10 years.
I mean, that's
And
not
that's in
ubiquitously true, but
ubiquitous.
that's
You
besides.
use big words. You're trying to discombobulate people using
No,
big words.
discombobulate is a pretty big word too, Looney.
That's what I was playing with you.
Okay, then let's not play. Let's have a discussion.
Okay, fine. So, why are you supporting a system that wants to eradicate you and all homosexuals off of the planet?
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
What system?
Okay, so tell me where in the Quran it says that.
Looney, I'd like you to answer my question.
I'm answering it.
So
What?
I'll restate my position because you keep on lying about it.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm not lying. Maybe I'm
Okay.
misinformed. I think
You are.
lying
Well,
is
you're
a bad
misinformed.
word.
Well, repeating something when you've never seen me say I support Hamas. You never would, because I've never said it. What I said was, I believe that international law should be followed. That's the system that I'm supporting, the system of international law. That system is what has enabled homosexual rights across a series of especially impoverished countries. Okay? That system is what allowed Rwanda to increase its recognition of human rights, Namibia to increase its recognition of Tanzania. All of these countries has been enforced by international law to support homosexuals. So when I say that, and I say even Israel should be held account to international law, that is reinforcing the system that protects myself. And a natural product of that is that it protects everyone else too. So me calling out the violations of international law against everyone would also be preventing violations of international law against me. And it's not my job to say they don't get the human rights that I'm calling for because they don't agree with me. That's not what I'm saying. A full core fundamental part of human rights is that everyone gets them. So when I am critical of all people violating human rights, I am benefiting all people who would be victims of human rights. Do you think that that's fair?
I totally agree with that, and I thank you for you putting that point forward. I totally agree with that. But why do you choose to stick your flag in the ground of a country that would systematically destroy you and all of your gay LGBTQ plus a whatever TJ? I can't remember the amount of alphabets there are.
You once again, you don't
But
understand what I'm saying. I never said I support the current regime in Palestine. What does that sentence say?
and all US funding to Israel and the IDF.
Does that say I support
Okay.
the current actions of all people within any Palestinian territory?
No, but you
Does
did.
that say that
But
I
you have
support the
said
current? Does that mean that I support the current regime within the Gaza Strip?
no. Definitely does
Does that
not.
mean that I
But
support all policies of all Palestinian people? No. So I'm not doing anything you're suggesting I am doing. And yet you're
yes,
still
you
trying
are.
to
You said
tokenize my
that
identity.
you.
And it's
I'm not
actually, by the way, it is
tokenizing your identity.
extraordinarily, by the way, it is by definition tokenization. But it is extraordinarily, and I'm tolerating it, because that's what I do. It is extraordinarily offensive to suggest that I have to tolerate the genocidal actions of Israel simply because of my sexuality. That is disgusting.
Okay.
And I hope you're well aware of that.
All right. Okay. Okay. Let's frame this slightly differently. Okay. Let's say there is a country and it's called Homoland, and it's a little island, and it's Homoland, right? And it's just all homosexuals of all different types, and it's all homosexuals. Yeah.
Okay.
How would you feel if the Muslims took over, they created a caliphate, and then you're on that little island on your own, right? And you wanted to integrate into their culture. How do you think they would react to you?
Yet again, first of all, there are plenty of Muslim countries that don't have violations against gay people in that way. For example, Turkey. Second of all, so you don't know what you're talking about. Second of all, relevance at all. All I am saying is that I want international law to be in place. And actually, me
Okay,
personally,
great.
I find a
Listen,
lot
listen.
more
Have you been to
affinity,
Turkey? Have you been to Turkey?
not
Have you been
personally.
to Turkey? Okay. If you were to go to Turkey, you would not be treated like a human being.
I know, but I wouldn't be put to
Even
death
if
for
you weren't,
being
even
gay.
if you weren't, even if you weren't, no, and it's disgusting, absolutely disgusting. If you were to go there, yeah, maybe you wouldn't go to prison. Maybe you wouldn't go to prison, but I tell you what, you'd have to watch your back a lot, and there's a good chance that you get that your
Wait, but Looney, you keep
the
trying
shit
this.
beaten out of you.
Looney, you keep trying this. Even if the people that were facing war crimes against them were the worst people in the world, even if every single individual of that society was disgusting morally and reprehensible morally, I still would not believe that crimes deserve to be gone against them. Even if that was true, right? No matter their beliefs, I literally do not care because they are human. And when I defend one human, I defend all humans. So me not defending one human is me not defending myself. That is the most basic view of human
Okay,
morality.
you're totally right, but unfortunately, you've got a blinkered, shielded view, and if people like yourself, and I'm not saying like you are now, but obviously I'm 45, you're 19
Don't
years old,
care.
right? I know, but obviously I've had a little bit more life experience,
It doesn't
and
matter. Typically, life
life is
experience
not as
blinds you from
rosy as
injustice
you
more than
think.
anything else.
Life,
I don't think it's
life
rosy.
is not as rosy.
You're the one
Can you
asking
let
me
me
to
finish
ignore
the
a
sentence?
genocide.
I'm asking you, if you allow Hamas to win, they are going to come after everybody,
I don't think
and they
Hamas
will
should
come
win.
after, and you will be the first on
I
the
don't think
chopping
Hamas should
block.
win.
Well, why don't you rather than um, end all US funding to Israel and IDF, why don't you write up in Hamas should completely, immediately wave the white flag and just let the people of Gaza live, and Hamas go out of
Because
the
I'm an
country,
American
go
citizen,
to
not a
Syria.
Gazan.
Sorry,
Because I'm an American citizen, I'm not a Gazan.
but don't. Your point doesn't make sense. You're
Well,
saying
I have
end all
control
US
over
funding to
I
Israel,
my
but
voice.
you're not saying Hamas should
Because
give
what I
up
say
and
Hamas
wave
should
the.
do doesn't really matter. I have no real influence over them. I'm an American
But you have
citizen
an
and an
opinion.
American
You have an
voter.
opinion.
I
What's
have
your
at least
opinion?
wait, but I
What
have
is
at
your
least
opinion?
I've said I condemn Hamas, Looney, multiple times. If you actually cared about my opinion, you just have started out with asking rather than lying
Okay,
about it.
great,
But once again,
fantastic.
Looney, though, why don't you say this? Why don't the reason I'm not saying Hamas should do blank and blank, Hamas should do blank and blank, is because Hamas is not a proxy for America. The IDF and Israel are, and American funding is American funding. Okay? And I'm
And
an American
Iranian
citizen. One second,
funding is
Looney.
Iranian
I know, and
funding.
I'm not an
Whose
Iranian.
side do you want to be on?
One second, Looney, let me make my point, and it might become a little clearer. I am an American. Most of my audience is American. Okay? I have at least illusory influence over America and our policy. And it is well within my rights and my wheelhouse to talk about and instruct what I think America should do. So I talk about what America should do. If America was funding Hamas, like we funded the Mujahideen, which I wouldn't have supported, I would talk about it because it's much more relevant. But we are funding one side, one of the two terrorist groups in this war. Okay? And so I want to stop funding any of the two terrorist groups in this war. That's why I don't want money going to the IDF.
Okay, great, and I appreciate that. So, what do you think the best solution is?
I think the best solution is for Israel to immediately stop its commencement of war crimes. And that includes a return to its pre-1967 borders, as the ICJ required it to do following the Camp David Accords, and as was the PA position in the Camp David Accords that Israel denied. The second, that Israel follows international law and actively, works together with Arab nations to establish a Palestinian state, as was offered in the Camp David Accords once again, I will believe for 2 seconds that they deserve any diplomatic support from America. But until then, they are an actively terrorist state that do not deserve our support.
Okay. And what are your words for Iran on Hezbollah and Hamas?
I think them funding Hezbollah and Hamas are despicable.
Okay, so what do you think the best solution is then?
Is for the side that I'm a part of, America, to stop doing the despicable things because I don't have control over the other side.
Why would you? I just don't. We're going back.
It's a
Sorry,
very
I'm going around. It's
all of
my
these
own fault.
views start from the very lowest base of morality. Change starts with you. I hate to be a cliche, but it does. The reason I'm talking about the US and England is because those are who I am. And when I'm doing something wrong, I have a lot more control over it than another person doing something wrong. So I want to stop doing things wrong first, and then when they continue, we take actions to end it actively. But if we're doing things wrong, that's the easiest we can, with a snap of a finger, stop doing it.
And do you know what? I appreciate your point of view and where your head's at, but fundamentally, it's completely perverse for somebody, a gay man, an out there gay
We're
man
back to
that
the
lives
gay
in
thing.
England. Yeah, of course. Why would you support a organisation? It's
I
like
don't.
a
When did I
Jew
support Hamas? When
supporting
did I support
Hitler.
Hamas? When
It's
did I
like a
support
Jew
Hamas?
supporting Hitler.
When did I support Hamas?
No, wait. Is it not like a Jew supporting
No,
Hitler?
it's not, because I don't support Hamas.
No, I'm not talking about Hamas. I'm talking about everyday
What organization?
Muslims
What
in
organization are you
England.
referencing then?
Hezbollah,
I
ISIS,
don't support
Al
Hezbollah. I don't
Mujahideen,
support ISIS.
Boko Haram. What
I
else
don't
do you want me to
support Boko
say?
Haram.
What?
Which organization are
Why?
you saying I support? Name one.
All of the Muslim organisations
Name one.
that want to, okay, they want to create a
Name one.
caliphate.
Name one.
Okay, I'm going to say Palestine as a general country.
Palestine as a general country isn't an organization, brother.
Okay, so
Name an
you said
organization, Looney. Name an organization,
you
Looney.
have said what has happened. You have said, and I've heard in the last couple of hours that what's happening in Gaza is what do you call it? Genocide. You call it genocide.
You're going to try and pivot away, Looney. Name an organization.
Hamas.
I don't support Hamas.
Well, okay, thank you, because you
So
didn't
name.
sound like you.
I've said that 4 times this live. Did you not hear me?
No, I didn't before. To be fair.
Oh,
So
okay,
if
then
you're
get your
not
ears
supporting
checked,
Hamas,
brother.
so
Name an
who are you
organization that you're
supporting?
saying I do support.
So who are you supporting?
I am calling for an end to the Israeli war crimes.
Okay, but why?
Because I don't like war crimes.
Fine. So what if they were crimes against what there's so many different crimes that could happen. Why have you chosen this to put your hat on?
Because they have killed 30. Oh, I don't know where he went, everyone. Fascinating. Thank you. Hishem, thank you so much for the Cash App. By the way, that is true. If you want to support me directly, I do have my Cash App, my bio. That is true. Thank you. I forgot about that, but oh my goodness. Someone just sent me money on Cash App. I love and appreciate. Thank you. But okay. Once again, if you disagree with me, send a guest request. If you don't disagree with me, don't send a guest request. Thank you so much for everyone supporting me. I do want to reiterate, this is labor, and I appreciate everyone supporting me. Also, if you don't follow me already, follow me up here. There are 1,600 people on here. 1,600 people on here. If 1,600 people on here follow me, that would be so cool. So thank you so much. Wait, can you not hear me? Is that fixed? Is that fixed? Keep on spamming. Is it back? You can hear me? It's fixed? Okay. We're good. You can see me. Good, good, good. Okay. Ooh. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, would you send a guest request to disagree on?
Well, no, the guy just left. And I kind of understand. I can't see you, by the way. It says live paused.
Oh my. Does it say live pause for everyone else? Maybe you have to, like, does it say live pause for everyone else, or does it? Okay, for some people it's not. You might just have to, like pull your screen down and then pull it up or something like that. I don't know.
So it was just that he was asking, like, if you don't support war crimes, why are you not calling out Hamas?
I do call out Hamas.
Okay. So how come it's not on your background?
Because it is a notably less relevant call out from an American to call out a, foreign national non-funded organization than our ally who we send billions of dollars.
But don't billions of dollars also go to support Hamas?
No, not in terms of their actions or military.
Well, that's false.
Okay, what direct military aid do we intend for Hamas?
People, like, unfortunately, Hamas steals billions of dollars of aid.
So they steal it.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we send it to them.
Do people know that it's going to Hamas, do you think?
Once again, if they steal it, then it's not our policy to give it to them. It's drastically different to have a policy of actively supporting a T group like the IDF rather than some of our weapons being stolen by a T group.
All right,
Totally different policies.
I'm just gonna go. Sorry,
active allyship.
I'm just gonna go
support.
based off of the comments. But yeah. Bye.
Oh, okay. Bye. My Cash App's in my link tree, my loves. One second. That's my Cash App. Just texted it. My Cash App's in my link tree. And much love and appreciation. And do go out. Talk about this. Go out. Spread awareness. Do action. Direct donation. Love and appreciation. Hello. Hello. Hi. What'd you send a guest request to disagree on? Oh, okay. Thank you so much for the people sending likes. Thank you so much for the people sending gifts. Thank you so much for the people sharing. Thank you so much for the people that followed. Incredible and amazing. I need to update those stickers. I literally I set up the anyway. Okay. Send a guest request if you disagree.
Hi.
Hello. What do you send a guest request to disagree on?
Can you hear me? I can't quite hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, now I can hear you. Actually, I'm a bit excited, and English is not my native tongue, so my native language. So I hope it won't bring me down. Basically, I wanted to say the previous guest said that you are all for ending the fund to Israel, but you had a good point because Hamas is receiving billions of dollars from Iran.
Yeah, and I'm not Iranian, so I have exponentially less control or influence over what Iran does with its money. And also, if Americans go out and call out for Iran to change its actions, I don't think that's going to have more impact than America as a state entity already doing that. I don't think Iran
Yes,
really
but
cares what Americans think.
and no, but that's not quite true. What you're saying is not quite true because right now, at the moment, Hamas has a huge support from the Western world, and
Militarily?
there is a bit of the confusion because let me say it that way. First of all, I'm from Israel, and in a way, I
Thank you
do
for the cash app.
support the Palestinian struggle. I
Okay.
do support the Palestinian struggle, but that's not a black and white matter, because we are dealing with a terror organization and Muslim countries that thrive to destroy Jews, Israel, and the Western world. America is their enemy, Israel is their enemy, and they do all they can in order to accomplish that. And the thing is that they use the Western moral in a cynical way, and they hide behind it in order to they just use it to do whatever they already been doing for many years.
Okay,
And
but wait 1 second, Tal.
yes,
You claimed that you came up here and said she had a good point. Her point was that I should be talking about the funding going to Hamas. I said, well, no, I shouldn't, when primarily it's Iranian funding, and my voice doesn't really matter to Iran. Do you disagree with that argumentation?
that your voice doesn't matter to Iran?
Yeah.
No, I think it does, because
Okay.
look on it in a different matter, because if you are weakening Israel's ability to defend herself, then you are supporting them in a way.
Okay, that's
And
interesting, but doesn't actually respond to the words that I said. That's a different argument.
you ask if you
Okay.
are
You
able to.
think that I should
Yes,
continue.
but the
Okay.
question. Sorry, yes.
I'm not strengthening Iran, right? I'm just weakening Israel, which is an interesting argument. All I'm saying is that, let's just be very clear about this. I believe that if Israel wants American funding, just like any other country that wants American funding, they should be required to follow international law. We should put our funding on contingency and our diplomatic support on contingency of them following international law.
But why do you
That's the
think
most
that they
basic
don't
claim.
follow? But why do you think that they don't follow the international law?
I mean, they explicitly don't. So the ICJ ruled on this. This is a well and settled matter, that the occupation of the post 1967 borders are illegal occupations and inadmissible in courts of justice. So they have been illegally occupying, according to international law, at least until 1967. And when they denied
wait,
the
wait.
PA's offer to return to pre-1967 borders under the Camp David Accords, they
Okay,
continued
okay,
their
just a
criminal
second.
violation
It's
of international law.
yes, but it's very easy to use such claims in order to make sense or make justice of what happens. Sorry, my
I'm
English
just
is not
stating the
that good.
law.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying is that the Palestinian had many peace offers that they declined.
And
Uh,
wait, the Israelis had a peace offer as well, multiple peace offers actually, and they declined.
yes, but I know, I don't know about that, but listen,
They did. Under
just,
the Camp David Accords, the PA offered a two-state solution to Israel, and Israel declined.
okay, I don't know, but I know that there
But
were
if you
many
don't know, don't
solutions that the
speak.
Palestinian declines. No, I'm
Yeah, but
not
if you don't
speaking,
know,
but
don't speak.
let me ask you, because you're the one that probably knows more than me. Take Israel's side for a second. Okay, let's play a game. Okay, let's say it that way. Take Israel's side for a second. It's a 75 years old country. No, let's say it in another way. I feel like you're ignoring the geopolitical situation in the Middle East. Take Israel for a second. It's a 75-year-old country with 8 million Jews and Muslim citizens. They are not going anywhere. It is surrounded by two hostile Muslim countries. Gaza is controlled by a terrorist group that teach their little kids in schools that it's good to kill Jews. The Hamas leaders
Do
invest
you want to
all the
keep on
funds.
throwing out note cards, or do you want to ask an actual
No,
question?
actually, I wrote it down, but because it's harder, it's easier for me to express myself that way, but it's
No, that's
short.
fine. I'm just saying you don't
It
personally need to write it down when every single Israeli apologist says the exact same thing.
says what? But it doesn't say that it's not
They
true.
cite the teaching in UNRWA schools.
But it's true and it's
I know,
proven.
Tal, but it means that the monologue that you're giving me is useless. I can
Why?
respond to the general point you're making.
No, just a second. Just let me finish
Tal, no,
two
because
more
I'm not
sentences.
interested in completing the monologue.
Can I give you two more sentences, please?
Sure.
The Hamas leaders invest all their funds. The Hamas leaders invest all their funds in terror, and the leaders of the Hamas each are worth several billion dollars. They are all funded by Iran and seek to destroy Israel and eliminate Jews as part of the so-called religious agenda. Those are fanatic regimes that support the terror against the civilians and against foreigners. Israel
Okay,
suffers
that's
from
three
terror
sentences,
attacks
my love.
since. Okay, so what is the solution for Israel? There are 8 billion citizens here, and we are dealing with terror for
Okay, can I
many
answer?
years. What
Can I
is the
answer?
solution? Yes, please give me a solution. I'm from Israel. Please help me.
No security situation, which is what you're describing, a complicated security situation, gives you the right to violate international law, which is what we're talking about. Tal, you asked me when Israel violated international law, so that's what I'm going to talk about. I would love to hear an actual response to what I said about Israel violating international law following 1967 and following the passage of the ICJ.
Okay, but they didn't use
So,
violence. They
but
didn't use violence.
Tal.
I'm not sure what you're
They,
talking about, so I can't respond to it. But
you're not
as
sure what
far
I'm
as
talking
what you
about.
said,
The change,
no,
are you
no.
aware that the borders of Israel changed between 1965 and 1968?
But how does that justify the 7th of October?
Tal,
2,000 Israelis
I
were
didn't say it
butchered.
was. Tal, I didn't say it did.
But
Did I say that?
we have to deal with
Tal, did I say
terror.
that it, Tal, did I say that it did?
No, you didn't say that, but we
Okay,
have
then
to
why
deal with
ask me, Tal,
terror.
but then why ask me how it justifies it?
Because we have to deal with terror. You have to understand it. We have to deal with 7 October. 7 October was the most horrific thing that ever happened to us. And we have to deal with that. We have to deal with the terror threat. You are talking
Okay, so
about,
Tal,
sorry, I want to
no, but
to
this
say what
isn't
you
going to
said.
work. This
I
isn't
want to
going to
say what
work.
you said.
No, Tal, no, this isn't going to work. You asked me when Israel committed violations of international law. Did I answer you?
Yes, you did.
Do you disagree that they violated international law at that
I
time?
don't know. It might be right. It might be wrong. I don't know.
Okay, then start with that. So if you don't know, I can provide you the sources if you want. The UN has a really good document explaining it. Until then, this argument continues as if they did, because if you can't disprove the thing that I said, then we accept it to be true.
But this is you exactly you bring my point. You support my point because this is exactly what I said. You ignore the geopolitical situation in the Middle East. We are dealing with
Absolutely,
terror.
I do not.
We are dealing with terror. What is the solution? How can we, when it comes to a
Well,
war,
Tal,
when it comes to
in
a war,
reference to
there is no
international law,
easy.
violations of international law never are.
Wait a second. There is no easy way to conduct a war. We don't want so many people being hurt. By the way, we don't want so many people to get hurt. But how can we? It's a war. It's gonna be ugly.
Well, so
But we have to
tell me,
defend our
okay,
people.
explain to me why you have to illegally occupy portions of the West Bank or portions of former Gaza. Why is it a security necessity that you keep the post-1967 borders?
Okay, but that's a different question because
No, but how, tell me, so
because you're
I'm
you're
saying
justifying
that
the violence
Israel,
of Hamas, but you're justifying the violence of Hamas
how in no
because
way,
you're
shape, or
saying that
form am I.
Israel behaved badly.
Well,
You are actually supporting Hamas actions because
so,
you're saying that Israel was not okay.
so, Tal, is it
But
your view?
okay,
One second, Tal,
I'll
can I
answer
ask
your.
you the right
Oh,
question?
sorry,
Just for this,
sorry.
because
Yeah.
that is disgusting.
No, sorry, I'm with you.
So, what you just did there is both personally offensive and morally reprehensible.
Sorry, please correct
Let me
me.
explain how. You are saying that any critique of Israel, and if I'm wrong about this, correct me. Are you saying that any critique of Israel is tantamount to supporting Hamas?
No, of course not.
Okay. All I did was critique Israel. How did I support Hamas?
But what I'm trying to tell you is that we have to conduct a war because we have to deal with terror. And you talk about Israel actions in 1967 that they occupied some territories. But I have to tell you regarding that even if Israel took territories that were that belonged to the Palestinian, okay, the Palestinians wants the entire country. This is part of their agenda. They want us to be gone. They don't want a two-state solutions. They don't want a two-state solution.
That's actually not true. The
They
PA
don't
has
want to
offered it.
live next to us.
The PA has offered a two-state solution.
What is the PA? Yeah, sorry, English is not my native tongue. What is the PA?
The Palestinian Authority?
No, I don't think that's correct. What was their exact offer?
Do you know what the Camp David Accords are, Tal?
I heard about it, but I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, do you know what the Oslo Accords are, Tal?
Yes, I know about the Oslo.
Okay, do you know what the Abraham Accords are?
I heard about it. I'm not familiar with it. But listen, it's okay. Let me tell you one more thing because I
No,
can't.
I don't want to be
Wait a
told
second.
anything by you. No, I'm not going to wait a
condone.
second. I'm not going to wait a second. I'm not going to wait a second. If you don't know, don't speak.
Okay, sure, but let me tell you that.
Please, Tal, don't speak.
No, but let me tell you what I don't know. Let me tell you what I don't.
It's okay to not know things. It's not okay to lie. It's okay to not know things. It's not okay to enter a conversation entirely unprepared to make the claims that you did. It's okay to not know things. It is not okay to accuse me of supporting a terrorist group on your ignorant, entirely uneducated views. That's not okay. She accused me of supporting a terrorist group when she didn't know two of the most major international agreements that have affected Israeli support in the past 50 years. How's this as backup?
How you doing, Will? What's going on, bud?
Doing well. What'd you send a guest request on?
Yeah, I kind of did it on accident. Actually, I just wanted to say what's going on. I was trying to comment, but it glitched, so it sent a request. So I was like, "What the hell?" I was like,
Hey,
"What's
well,
going
very
on?"
cool. I'll find someone who disagrees then. Much love.
Yeah. How's everything? How's we just wanted to say, man, thank you and appreciate everything that you do for our people and our cause. I do greatly appreciate it.
Well,
And
thank you so much. I've been feeling that appreciation today, and it means a lot. And I
for
do
sure,
for good. So
we
thank
have
you so much.
a live that has a very. I think you see my message was a diverse with diverse panel. It's not an echo chamber, so you're welcome anytime. I added you at your link tree, and I added a lot of your Discord and everything else. So just wanted to say thanks again, brother, and I do greatly appreciate it, man.
Well, thank you so much. That means a
All right,
lot, and
hopefully we'll see
I'll
you.
hop on a live if I can. So thank you so much.
You got it, but thank you again.
Peace out. Much love and building community is the most important thing that we can do, everyone. Do go follow my YouTube. It's in my link tree. Following my YouTube is the best thing you can do because TikTok doesn't like me. Hello. Would you send a guest request to disagree on?
I just have one question because I just noticed you on TikTok and you said that end all US funding of Israel and the IDF. I have a different type of question for you. If you're talking about US funding, what do you think about the US funding for Ukraine?
I think it's a drastically different question.
Why?
Because I'd consider that Ukraine fundamentally is being invaded by a colonialist power of Russia to reestablish a colonial empire in the Soviet Union. I mean, that's Putin's explicit end. So when we fight with people that are, I believe the current Ukrainian government isn't that good, but they are in the position of the colonized, and they have the right to self-determination, right? Where Russia also has the right to self-determination, but they don't have the right to, to determination over Ukraine. So drastically different.
Well, as an Israeli and a person who lives actually in Ukraine right now, I just want to tell you that most of the money that the US sends to Ukraine is being stolen. I don't know if you know about it.
Oh, yeah, I think it's all entirely corrupt, right? But, I mean, no military isn't. But if we're talking just like in a moral sense, right, if America's military should exist at all, right, I think it's a drastically different question. Do I actually support the magnitude of money that's being sent to Ukraine? No. Do I support the current Ukrainian state? No. Do I support, like, the actions of the Ukrainian state? No. Do I think it's at all in any way, shape, or form relevant or, comparable to, the actions of Israel or the American support of Israel? Obviously not.
And why do you stand against the US funding to the IDF? What's the main reason?
Because they're committing war crimes and completely disregarding basic international law.
But every country that enters the war commits war crimes. Every country, including the US.
Yes, but the difference here is that Israel is both admittedly and actively doing it, right? So the entire foundation of the modern state of Israel, especially the maintenance of it following 1967, is institutionalized violation of international law. Okay? And I believe that America is supporting that institutionalized violation of international law. Okay?
I
And I
think
don't
that
think
Israel
America
is the only
should
ally
continue
of the
doing that. I think they
US.
should turn around and start using our influence to try and end that institutionalization. America is the largest committer of war crimes in the world.
Yeah,
I'm aware.
indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So why would we want a war criminal to be influencing the nation even more? There's
Be-
no view of not this with nihilism, saying, oh, everyone commits crimes, that would support sending more American funding out into the world.
Okay, do you understand what will happen if Israel will stop existing in the Middle East?
In what way does it stop existing? What situation are you specifically
Israel
talking
is
about?
the best friend of America in the Middle East. Israel is the only way that America can delay or stop Iran and other countries in the same list from progressing. That's currently we're in the middle of, I think, a third Cold War, if you can agree
So
with me.
that's just not really true.
Why not?
I mean, we have strong allies in Saudi Arabia, and we have really strong allies in Jordan.
You cannot compare Israel and Saudi Arabia. That's not the same.
I'm not. Did I do that?
You just said Saudi Arabia, so yeah.
Did I compare Israel and Saudi Arabia, though?
You put it above Israel or in the same line. That's totally different situation,
It's not
totally
a
different
comparison. I'm
countries.
saying they're both allies. Is it wrong that they're
Okay.
both allies?
Saudi Arabia was not a full ally. Like,
Are they both allies, though?
What?
Are they both allies?
Not in the same way.
I didn't say they were allies in the same way.
Okay,
Are
so
they
what
both
are you trying
allies?
to say?
I'm saying they're both allies.
Okay, so Saudi Arabia also made crimes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say, if you talk about Saudi Arabia and Israel as friends of the US, in our situation in Israel, as a person who was a soldier and a volunteer and sees both situations in Ukraine and Israel, first of all, I don't think that the US sends a lot of money. Yeah, that's not a lot of money for the US. You cannot compare it to other donations that the US do to other countries.
Sends a lot of money to what?
To Israel, like for
We
the
sent
IDF.
3.8 billion.
That's not a lot of money compared to the US budget.
Pretty significant. Well, I mean, nothing is a lot of money compared to the US budget.
Yeah.
Compared to the IDF budget, it's pretty significant.
I hear you. Continue.
So, yeah. So we send quite a lot of money to them. And if we count the economic booms that they get from, you know, our direct free trade agreement with them and the free trade agreement that we, basically require the Europeans to have with them, the preferential tariffs we give them, right? The direct military and intelligence integration and technological integration with them, the mutual recognition of intellectual property, right? The flexing of diplomatic arms under the Abraham Accords, for example, to reopen trade and recognition, right? Between Egypt, Morocco, Saudi Arabia, no, not Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Morocco, Sudan, and Israel. All of those are bringing billions, if not cumulatively trillions, into Israel's budget. So, I mean, the US has a huge amount of influence that they can pack into this. And I'm saying we use that influence to, influence what Israel does. Just like, actually, you bring up Saudi's war crimes. I actually believe that we should have fundamentally changed our approach to Saudi Arabia following 9/11, considering their active involvement in it. I mean, it's well known that they were actively involved in at least covering up, right, certain actions of certain Saudis, if not actively supporting those actions of those Saudis. And I believe that we should have changed our policy around that. That's true. And we need to change our policy around Israel when Israel ramps up its war crimes as well, so that we can reduce them, if not actively enable them.
But do you think Israel have the full right to defend itself? Let's put the US budget on the side.
Not in its current form, so it doesn't have the right to defend its occupied territories.
But we gave Gaza back to the Palestinians. It was occupied, we gave it
No,
back.
it's actually following 2012, it was still occupied.
How come?
A blockade
What is
in
occupation for you?
Well, it's not for me. According to Israel, right? When Israel
Okay.
signed the UN charter, it affirmed the definition of occupation that included blockade.
Do you understand that Israel provides free electricity, water, food, and many more
Yeah,
supplies
that's
for
because
free?
they have obligations to an occupied peoples.
Israel don't have obligations. I
They
pay
do under
my
international law.
taxes.
If they have a blockade, they are occupying. Do you disagree?
I disagree because before the
Okay,
war,
cite your source. According to who? Where's your definition of occupation coming
source
from?
of what? For the blockade?
Why? On what basis do you disagree?
There is a reason for every blockade.
No, but there's a reason for occupation as well.
Of course, I agree.
So you giving a reason for this doesn't justify it. You said that that blockade is not occupation. Every international lawyer in the world disagrees with you. Why
It
are
doesn't
they
mean
wrong?
they're right. They can disagree because that's
okay,
the
why
law.
are they wrong?
Because if you have a reason, a safety problem, okay, let's say in some area, and you want your people to be more safe and you need to make a blockade for that, so yeah, I think that the US will do the
But you can
same
do the
if
same thing for occupation. People
What?
occupy for security reasons as well.
I will not call it occupation. For me, occupation
And
is
you'll just be
something a little
wrong.
bit different.
It is occupation. I mean, under international
Maybe
law,
the
it is occupation.
terminology is a little bit different. Okay, let's agree on that. But I think that if it's not, I think, I'm sure that if there was not terrorist organizations inside Gaza, the situation was different because
Sure, that's
we
fine.
allow
But you
people
just
to work
agree with the
inside Israel.
occupation. That's all you're saying.
What?
All you're saying is you agree with the occupation. You're giving a justification for the blockade. The blockade is in fact occupation. You're giving a justification for the occupation. That's not an indictment. That's just in fact what you're doing.
For me, occupation, it's when you force people to do things against their will, and we do not. We provide them work, we provide them food, we provide them electricity to build their own state. That's
like forcing
not the
them to have a
same thing
license
if you can.
to have free.
What?
Wait, sorry. Like forcing them to have a license to have free economic activity within the area. Like forcing them to have a license to trade with Egypt, their neighbor.
Israel is not controlling the license that they have with Egypt. It's Egypt,
Actually,
Gaza.
they do. No, sorry. No, there are IDF troops on the Rafah crossing.
Yeah, right now.
No, there have been since 2012.
There is. Let's separate the situation. By the way, if you want some additional information of why there is IDF soldiers,
do you deny that there have been IDF troops on the Rafah crossing since 2012?
On which side? On the Egypt side or the Gaza side?
On the Gazan side.
There might be Israeli forces to make sure that, from what I know as a soldier, to make sure that illegal stuff do not come inside to Gaza. Yeah, for checking reasons.
Yes.
For safety.
So we require them to have a license or be licensed in that way. Follow regulations to have free economic trade with their neighbor.
Okay.
If any other country did that to another country, that would be occupation. And it is
what
occupation.
Does France do in Africa? Pretty much the same, but no one calls it occupation.
What country is France occupying in Africa?
Not officially occupying, but economically occupying.
Name a single country you would say France is occupying.
All the countries that was under, I forgot the name in English.
French West Africa?
The colonialism of the French 100 years ago. There is 12 countries currently that French control economically, officially. You can search after this call.
No, I'm aware of what you're referencing.
Okay.
It's not occupation.
That's not a physical occupation. I
No, it's
agree.
not. It's literally not occupation. It's colonialism, right? The
Okay.
Central African franc,
Okay.
CFA, the Central,
Okay.
or I believe it's called the Central African franc or West African franc. The denial of monetary sovereignty to those former colonies is absolutely colonialism. It's absolutely imperialism, but it's just not occupation,
Okay.
right? Occupation is drastically different. And once again, where we get this definition is from international law.
Okay.
And Israel signed on to the international law.
I
So if
agree.
Israel agrees with this definition, and you have no other definition to agree with, you have no leg to stand on. So Israel
Okay.
agreed that that blockade is occupation. So it is. So they are currently occupying Gaza. And when I talk about occupation, I'm not just talking about the de jure occupation over Gaza. I'm talking about the integration of formerly Gazan territory into proper integral Israel, which is what happened following 1967. They integrated things that used to be Palestinian territory into integral Israel, and they've been doing that since. So those are
Okay.
occupied territories as well.
Let's.
All territories not held by Israel prior to 1967 are occupied territories.
Okay. Let's say I don't agree with you, but let's say Israel is occupying. Let's agree with you just for the next question I have. Um, do you understand the reason of let's say, okay, I don't agree with you, but let's say I agree with you that there is a fake occupation or real occupation, doesn't matter right now. Do you understand why there is soldiers and people inside Gaza?
I understand the reason that Israel says.
Do you
Is that
agree
what
with
you're
that?
asking? No, I don't agree that that's why they're doing it.
Why not?
Because they've gone well beyond their security needs, and they've consistently done things contrary
Who
to
decides
settlement in the
what are the
region.
security needs?
Right? So it is a unstable region. That's true. But Israel's
Okay.
actions don't look towards stabilizing the region. If they did, then they would fall in line with international law and be able to hold others to account for international law. But they can't when they denied the PA a two-state solution in line with international law under the Camp David Accords. If they wanted peace, they would have accepted a peace deal that actually followed international law, but they didn't.
Peace deal needs to be good for both sides. So if one of the
No,
sides
no,
is
no,
not
no.
happy,
No one has a right to anything more than they have a right to.
yeah. I
And if
think
you're
in my
unsafe in occupied territories, that is your fault.
pardon?
So if a state has safety concerns in occupied territories, the solution is for them to leave the occupied territories.
I totally disagree of that because when you're facing, that's my opinion. I can disagree with you, right? When
Yeah,
you're
it's wrong.
facing with a person who hates you for no reason. I'm not saying that all of them, by the way, are hating us, but let's say the majority of them do hate us, and I see the comments below.
I would
It's a
hate my
different
occupiers as
situation.
well.
What?
Most Irish people hated the British under occupation. Most Indians hated the British under their occupation.
I'll tell you something. I
Most South
think it's a
Africans
totally
hated the
different
British under their
situation.
occupation. Most Algerians hated the French. Most Brazilians hated the Portuguese. Most Paraguayans, most
Yeah, but they
Bolivians
built a
hated the
state.
Spanish.
Will they built a state eventually?
Eventually.
The people in Gaza and Palestine have all the resources to build.
No, they don't.
Yes, they have.
Absolutely,
What?
they do not.
What don't they have? Tell
They
me,
are some
please.
of the most starving people in the world. They don't have food.
These people received so much money, so much food, so much electricity. We can enter
You
sources
realize they
right now
had
in
a
the internet.
caloric diet for the past 10 years. that
Did you see
even
how
if
much Europe sent? How much money is
no,
being
no, no.
sent to
So all
Gaza?
of that money, and all of that food was allowed in only at the behest of Israel. And Israel only let in a certain amount of calories per person into Gaza for the past 10 years. And even if every single one of those calories got into a Gazan stomach, they would still be living just barely at what is necessary to survive. So no, they are made to be a starving peoples by Israel.
I think you just don't look at the facts. But
I've looked at the facts. That's how I've said that.
where did you look at these facts?
Israel releases the amount of calories they accept into Gaza.
Israel releases the amount of food that Israel sends inside Gaza.
Yes.
Not the food that enters through Egypt.
No, that is allowed through by the IDF soldiers as well. That's counted in the number, brother.
I know that Israel releases only the amounts of food that they sent. I don't think that they
the amount of humanitarian aid that they have allowed in, because they have total control
from Israel.
over no, point blank period, international humanitarian aid.
I don't.
That's how a blockade works, bro.
Well, what?
That's how a blockade works.
You do not. How will I say it? I personally can assure you, and we can go after this call into like personal debate and go over the things. That's first of all. But Israel releases what they send inside. That's for sure. Regarding all other resources, and I think that you know yourself that Hamas takes.
I knew you were going to take this point. That's why I made explicit, even if everything they went into, they would still be in a horrendous situation, notwithstanding that a terrorist organization controls them. A terrorist organization, by the way, which had support from Israel in its founding, but
it's not support of Israel. You need to understand the thinking of the people inside Israel. There is, in 2005, they vote for Hamas be their government, okay? We cannot tell them change your government. It's also against the law, correct?
First of all, you have told them to change their government multiple times, but secondarily,
we can say, but we didn't physically do it.
Once again, y'all meddled in the elections by supporting Hamas. Like, this is really well known. At least at the founding of Hamas, Israeli support was present specifically.
Hamas was founded in 1987.
Yes.
Okay.
And the charity that existed prior to that were still jihadists. And there's a direct quote from the Brigade General of Gaza, okay, who said that he supported the foundation and proliferation of that charity to counterbalance the PLO. They wanted the jihadists to gain power and overtake in power the PLO, a secularist, notably more leftist, freedom fighting force for Gaza. So yes, you meddled in those elections. Israel is a primary reason that Hamas gained control in that area.
Before Hamas took the government inside Gaza, there was 2 years without Hamas. In that 2 years, everything was fine.
Everything
between
was not
2005,
fine.
I said it was between 2005 and 2007.
In those 2 years, everything was not fine.
What was not fine?
The Palestinian land was still being illegally occupied.
Let's divide the conversation for occupation and was fine. For me, fine was not rockets, not making terrorist attacks inside this area. It was in generally way much more quiet than it is now. Correct?
Okay. According to B'Tselem, since June 2000. I'm just going to get the most. I'm just going to get the most.
Of people who go against Israel.
I'm just gonna get the most immediate source that I can, which is B'Tselem. According to B'Tselem, since June 28th to 2006, there are 416 Palestinians killed in 2006. I wouldn't say that that is everything is fine.
How much?
416 Palestinians killed in a 4-month period in 2006. I
Where?
would not say
In
that
West
that is
Bank and
everything being
Gaza? In
fine.
Gaza only? Where exactly?
You claim that in those 2 years,
In
everything is fine.
Gaza
I just
or West
categorically
Bank
disagree.
and Gaza?
I believe this is referencing a mix of both.
So it might be 300 here, 100 there. You don't know, but I will tell you that B'Tselem is not a good source because it's a group that goes against Israel.
And
So
Israel's not a good source because it's a group that goes against, Palestinians.
I don't think that there is any, let's say, true source right now because all the sources regarding even this war are not correct. Everything
there's
will be
nothing
correct
factual
once
to
it's
talk
all
about.
over. What?
Then there's nothing factual to talk about.
We can assume. We can make some general
Assume
numbers
based
like
on
you take,
what?
but I will take more centered, how will call it, companies or organizations that do it, not B'Tselem.
Like
B'Tselem
who?
is not a good source.
Like who? What center? Would you trust an IDF
No,
source?
no,
Okay.
no.
Then what center?
I need to search. Let's search together. I know that.
He knows that he doesn't like what B'Tselem says.
Pardon?
I said you know that you don't like what B'Tselem says.
No, I didn't say I don't like. I just know that facing facts and what they say, it's not. Most of it is not true, because there's facts and there is what they take as facts and circle it as they want. The people who control the B'Tselem and the people who donate to B'Tselem, you can see in their site. You can go to B'Tselem, and you see a lot of Arabic companies or people who, if you can search on Google, by the way, it was part of my job in the IDF, so you can see that they're not pro-Israel or they have something good to say. These people just want to eliminate Israel. So you can go into their site, see all their donators, go one by one and see who donates money.
The point being is you claimed everything was fine. I'm just reading literally the Wikipedia page.
For me, fine is not shooting rockets at Israeli citizens. That's generally more fine than it's now.
Only about Israeli citizens?
No, I'm also thinking that for the Palestinians,
so what
it was
about,
much more better because at the time, 50,000 Gazans was working in Israel, gaining money.
Beginning June 30th, the IDF began hitting Gaza Strip with a variety of targeted bombardments. Israeli warplanes struck more than a dozen times in Gaza in hours after midnight, hitting a Fatah office and Hamas faculty in Gaza City, as well as roads and open fields.
What are you talking right now?
No, I'm talking 2005 to 2007. On July 12th, the IDF dropped 550 pounds of bombs on a building in Gaza City, killing a family of 9. The spokesperson for the Israeli army said they were trying to kill a
Who
group
did they
of
bomb? The
Hamas militants.
IDF don't bomb just for no reason. Who did they bomb? Who did they
I'm
kill?
about to say so they did kill a family of 9.
Okay.
They said that they were trying to kill a group of Hamas militants and did not know that that family was living inside that house.
Wait, before 10 minutes you said that the IDF supported Hamas. Now you say that in 2005 there was killing people from Hamas. So I don't understand what's... 10 minutes ago you said that Israel helped to promote Hamas become the government in Gaza. Now you read news that Israel was fighting against Hamas in 2005. So
yes,
it's kind of
in the exact
not
same
matching.
way that America, in the exact same way that America funded the Mujahideen, and then later went to war with them. Actually, this is verbatim what Israel's current statement is that they funded them but they claim it to be a mistake. And then
They
later
funded them because they have no other reason. This is the sad truth.
I don't know what's funny about.
No, that's a sad truth. I'm not laughing for a positive; it's for a negative laugh.
Okay, but the point is Israel did fund jihadists. I mean, that's unequivocal. And they did fund jihadists precisely to push out the PLO. They later did go to war with those jihadists. Those two things are not contradictory. Those two things are just true.
I'll tell you what I think about all this PLO and Hamas in general. If you go back in history to who funded these groups, if you go back in time, all of these groups was established and supported by Russia. That's first of all. And why are you laughing? You can search.
It's just not true.
Not true?
No. If anything, Hamas.
I'm willing to debate you for $100,000.
If anything, Hamas was funded by originally Egypt through the Brotherhood. That's pretty unequivocal.
Most of the terrorist groups that are located around Israel and support Iran, Hamas, the LPO, IPO, to go back in time, and you make a good search about it, because, by the way, I'm Russian and my family is from Russia, and we have a lot of history about that, was supported by Russia. Same way, Hamas came now to Russia, and they was treated as friends, not for just.
So I'm gonna do a really, really easy way to do this, and I'm not saying
there's no
this is
easy
definitive.
way. What do you mean?
No, I know,
easy
but
way?
I mean the only easy way to do it.
Okay.
On live quickly is to say the first time Russia's mentioned in the Wikipedia article is following January 2006. Okay, so if the initial funding and the initial support for Hamas came from Russia, it would certainly be mentioned in the origin of it. But it's not, because the actual origin
Wikipedia is not
exactly,
a good source.
Wikipedia is a good source. Wikipedia is one of the best sources.
For Russia? No, you don't know how Russia works.
Ubiquitously, Wikipedia is one of the best sources. But secondarily, as it says correctly, which is verbatim what I said, with its takeover of Gaza after the 1967 war with Egypt, Hamas came into power, or Hamas came into existence, right? It originated with portions of the Muslim Brotherhood, an Egyptian organization. As I said, if any country tolerated or supported Hamas in its origins, it was Egypt. Also, everyone saying Wikipedia isn't a good source. I don't want to attack you personally, but I really, really do want to attack you personally. Wikipedia is one of the most consistently true sources, because a bunch of nerds are always correcting it. Imagine if you had like 2 million nerds in a conversation, all correcting everything you said. It is 200% the best way to get information. Like, it's just so obvious. But anyway,
I think that people here mean that if Russia wanted to source something in Wikipedia, they will source it in the way they want it to look like, but not the truth.
Well, I'm not using Russian Wikipedia.
No, it doesn't matter what kind of Wikipedia. Russia will do whatever they think is good for the world, but eventually they will hide what they really did. And by the way, people in the comments say how I'm Russian, Palestinian, Ukrainian. My family came to Israel from Russia 30 years ago. That's first of all. And I have a business in Ukraine, just to make sure.
I provided a source. I can also source you to the Wall Street Journal and New Haven, so Yale University Press, that make the exact same claims. And then also Wall Street Journal, again, that make the exact same claims about the origin of Hamas being from Egypt. Wall Street Journal. And then also Slate.org archive. So all of these sources agree with my original founding of Hamas as being a originally Egyptian organization. Do you have a single source that shows?
I have history. Yeah, I have a good source.
Give me a single source. Give me a single
History
actual
is a good source. It's facts, no?
Well, I'm also sourcing you history, but I'm actually telling you where that history comes from. So give me a single person, or give me a single organization, or give me a single document that shows early Russian involvement
I can
in the
give you a
foundation
source.
and support of the Muslim Brotherhood in Gaza.
That supports what? Pardon? We talked about Russia supporting terrorist organizations. Now I missed you.
I'm
What are
asking
you
you
talking about?
specifically about it. I'm asking specifically about Hamas, which was sourced from the Muslim Brotherhood in Gaza, and then that Muslim Brotherhood in Gaza eventually developed, right, following the First Intifada into Hamas.
But who supports the
Right.
Muslim Brotherhood? Who started this? You need to go
Egypt.
back.
Who supported the
Okay.
Muslim Brotherhood? Wasn't it started in Libya? If I remember
Wow, I
properly, it
don't
might have
want
been
to lie
started
and
in
just
Egypt.
invent stuff, but I want to say something else. If we're talking
Egypt. It
about
was founded
facts.
in Egypt.
Okay.
Egypt. So once again,
I want to go one step back, okay, before
Russia
even the...
isn't mentioned in them either.
No, they will not mention it, even if it's true. That's how Russia works.
So just give me a source.
A source of what? That Russia supports terroristic organizations?
Actually, the Muslim Brotherhood is considered a terrorist organization by Russia. But anyway,
this is how Russia works. No, seriously. They
no,
can say
seriously, you
something
wouldn't.
what and do something else. That's what they do in Ukraine. They say one thing and do something else.
Just give me a single source.
I'm not near the computer. I need to enter the computer. I'm in bed actually.
Okay, then until you give me a single source, I'm going to ask that you stop claiming something that I've proven to be wrong.
No, I can prove you it without sources. I don't need sources. There's
You
history.
can't.
You want to listen or you just say you can't?
Well, if you can't prove to me history without providing me sources, because our
No,
claims
you
about
can search
history.
what I say. You can search what I say.
Well,
You're in front
I've
of
provided my
the
sources.
computer, correct?
I'm not going to do your research for you.
No, I don't need you to do a research for me. You can just
Me
check
looking stuff up for you is doing your research for you. So once again, until you can tell me or provide, I'm happy to look up a source that you can verbatim provide and check that it exists. That's cool. What do you want me to check?
I don't want you to check anything. I just want to...
Okay, then what do you want? Give me a literal search thing to look up, and we can do that. If
before
it will
you
prove
search,
your point.
Can I talk before you search so
No,
you will understand my point?
I want you to give me a source.
A source for what?
Your claim.
Not everything is sources. There is history. There is wars. There is actions.
Derivative of sources. The reason we know history is because we have documentation of what happened.
Documentation can also be not correct. Do you understand that?
I agree, but the only way that we have any truth is from old documentation or old references. So give me a documentation or reference, or else you're talking about nothing. You're just making assertions without evidence.
I'm not making assumptions. What I'm going...
Assertions.
Okay, give me 1 minute and you will understand what I'm talking about.
I'm not going to give you a minute.
So you're just going to shut me up?
Yeah. So unless you can provide me a source, I'm going to ask that you just stop making the claim.
That's not a fair debate because you shut up the person who talks with you. No, you shut up. You, instead of hearing what I have to say, I'm talking history, facts. You can search it.
Well, you can't. I don't believe you that they're facts.
Based on what?
Based on me literally actually looking at what the historians and what the independent primary, evidences say,
so
and then
I'm
not
telling
agreeing.
you the history. What's the problem?
But you're incorrect.
In what I was incorrect? That you didn't find information that Russia supported terroristic organizations?
I showed you that there was no evidence that Russia supported the Muslim Brotherhood.
You just search 1 minute. That's it. You cannot
and
search all of the internet in 1 minute.
I'm asking you to search anything. Tell me the source that you got this information from, and we can check it.
Books and internet.
That's the
but
only
I'm telling you, I'm in bed right now.
information we can run off of. So tell me what to look up.
Let's search from the phone.
What I will say is I do have to kind of show for a second. Thank you so much to everyone sending likes. Thank you so much for everyone sending gifts. The people that sent me cash apps, amazing and incredible. Thank you to everyone who followed me. And if you don't already, do follow me on YouTube. I love you. And I also will say I'm trying to build community. So I have a Discord in my bio. If you don't already join the Discord, then do. It's good fun. And I'm going to try and kind of build it out a little bit more. Yeah. That's the dogs. Oh.
Will.
Yep. Thank you to the 2 people that just joined the Discord. Incredible and amazing. Okay. Hi, I can't hear you while you're off the app, just so that's clear.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't use TikTok too much. Did you heard about the Wagner Group?
The Wagner Group. Okay, Wagner Group. Yep.
Yeah. Do you know what's the main target of Wagner Group?
So are you claiming, just make the claim really clear, are you claiming the Wagner Group helped Hamas?
No, I did not say that.
Okay, then on the point that Hamas was funded originally or supported originally by Russia, can you make a relevant claim?
I also didn't say that Russia sent money to Hamas. I said that there is terrorist organizations, and Hamas, by the way, is supported also by other terrorist organizations, cooperating with Hezbollah and way much more. That if you take them back
You
in
literally said
history.
Russia created Hamas.
I did not say that. That's a lie. I said that
okay.
money.
Then it's been slightly tolerable talking to you. I'm gonna move away to another person. Much love and peace out. You're a liar. But okay. Okay. I'm gonna go to bed. I love you all. But I haven't slept nearly enough in like forever. Okay. So I'm gonna go to bed. But I appreciate all of you. And what I'm gonna say is this has been the most incredible Israel-Palestine live I have hosted in, I think, ever. We built a community. I got access to a new community. We got views. We got this going out to new people, and we got good debates where it was calm and it was genuinely productive. Okay. So I am so proud of everyone who's on here. I'm thankful for everyone who came up and spoke. I'm thankful for everyone, especially the other creators that are on here and sent love. So thank you. So I'm sorry that people have been waiting. Thank you, Elio. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm sorry that people have been waiting. That is love. And thank you to all the support. And also, I can always send support. My cash from my bio. This is labor, and I do spend a lot of time doing this. So days like this kind of subsidize the years that I spend doing this. So thank you so much. Love you all. And please do go follow my Discord. I'm going to try and be building it up. And this is also kind of what I want to do in my life. Oh, I will also do this. I am a college kid. I'm going to say this. I am a college kid, and I am trying to like live. So if any of you know any organizations that I can actually work with, right, and engage in, let me know. If you have connections to an organization that you think I would do well in, let me know. On one side, I am an advocate and I live online. On the other side, I'm a human who needs internships in the summer. Okay, so if you can do that, let me know, and we will work together. Okay, I applied to the Young Turks, by the way. I'm gonna have an interview with them. So, thank you so much for everyone. And yeah, my DMs are always open. So I love you all. And the UN doesn't like me. I've applied to the UN as well. They've denied me. But thank you so much. I just thought I would ask, just because I'm a dude. I'm a dude who needs to live, and this is what I do. And if you think that that's something I can do, let me know. Okay. Thank you so much for everyone who followed me. Thank you for everyone who supported me. And if you think we can make a difference together, let me know, and I'll work with you. And if you host lives, especially, and you want a boost from my following, text me, and I'll try my best to show up on the live, even if just kind of sit and be silent. I want to build a community of pro-Palestinian people. So just feel free to send me a DM, ask for anything you need. I'll try and respond. It's a lot, but I love you all.